Okay, Chapter 5 trial. Obviously, Mikado did it, right? And I think that that's the answer. And I think that there's something more to this trial. There's a bigger gimmick, right? It's not just going to be simply, oh, Mikado obviously did it. And that's it. Because then this would be over in like one non-stop debate, right? There's some other weird trick that Ryuji's going to pull with this. It's going to make it so that there's funny consequences to Mikado actually being the culprit. But I don't think he's given me enough clues for me to ever get any idea what this trick is. So, but it's going to be something that's going to prolong this trial out. And I think this is going to be one of the rare cases where the person who's accused, it seems obviously the person who did it right off the bat, actually is the person who did it. So it's going to be interesting how this gets drawn out. That's the question I don't understand. Let's look at the truth bullets, though. Again, even if I don't need to do that to guess the culprit, I want to do that so that I like remember them, right? My non-stop debates and stuff. So, victim's name is Teruya Otori. Estimated time of death is unknown. Location the body was discovered was the East Twin Tower Broadcasting Room. There was a 50mm wide and 4mm high stab wound on the chest. There wasn't a large amount of blood from this, however. The cause of the stab wound is unknown, and there are no other visible trauma. But he might have been suffocated or cyanide poisoned. Yuruko thinks it's cyanide. Some strange oddities on Teruya's body, not listed in the monochrome file. These include livor mortis, hypostasis on the feet and hands, as well as brownish and red-colored blood, as if it was dried up. Apparently this is caused by a lack of oxygen, most likely caused by cyanide poisoning. If that's the case, I wonder if the cause of death was poisoning. This information was told to me by Yuruko, who heard it from a drunk customer. There was a projector in the middle of the West Broadcasting Room. It looked to be using some film used to display the hellish scape when we first entered the room prior. It's all scrumbled up, and there's some yellowish powder laying upon it. Yuruko says it's probably yellow phosphorus, a highly flammable substance known to cause fires almost instantly. It was probably used to make the sprinklers activate. The broadcasting room in the east and west twin buildings could perform various things. It's even possible to take over the monitors all over the city using it. The culprit of this case probably used this feature to broadcast that video to us all earlier. Looks like the video footage is recorded in real time. Unlike the CCTV, it doesn't seem to be capable of broadcasting pre-recorded footage. There was a prop cloth placed near the wall in this West Broadcasting Room storage. Looks like it was originally supposed to be used for set design at some point. There were similar things found in the storage room as well, however we don't know what was used from there and not. Due to the sprinklers, the cloth was in a damp state. One of the windows in the West Broadcasting Room was broken. Yuki did an experiment by throwing the object out the window to see if it ended up getting crushed on impact. From this was concluded that this wasn't the same case as the Tower of Babel, where you could survive a fall that high. There's no chance the culprit escaped out this window. In the middle of the West Broadcasting Room, there was a piece of burnt scrap paper on the floor. It looked to be all scrumpled up, and there was a weird texture on it. On closer examination, I saw that it was glass powder stuck to it. Door lock. The lock on the door of the broadcasting room was an old-fashioned lever. In other words, you have to lock the door from the inside, unlike a button type or an automatic one. From what we saw, it looked like a very high quality and reliable. Tape residue. When investigating the wreckage of the broken door in the West Broadcast Room, I saw some sticky tape attached to the lock. I wonder what it was used for. On the ceiling of the broadcasting room, there were sprinklers at certain intervals. This first time we saw Teruya's corpse, the sprinklers began to activate. The sprinklers are somehow important to this case. I had to catch up with Yuruko on everything that had happened today to get alibis. At the time of the warning broadcast, Sora was in the western section. Yuki and Yuruko were on their way to get their key cards from their hotel rooms. On the way, Yuruko saw Iroha from the east section. Mikado and Shobai's locations are currently unknown. The Twin Towers where the murder took... excuse me, I have to answer the phone. That was my mom. Okay. The twin towers where the murder took place are directly next to each other. There is a connecting bridge between them. However, Mikado said there is a bug causing it to not function correctly. This case probably involved a lot of back and forth between the west and east buildings. So how was this done? Oh, Spider-Man! Okay, cool. Now, let me start figuring out why this is so complicated. Even though it's Mikado. First, let's give a basic explanation of the class trial. The results of this class trial will be decided by your votes. I presume you would still have like a robot voice maybe, so it would be like, the results of this class trial will be decided by your votes. If you choose the correct blackhead only, you will receive punishment, but if you vote for the wrong person, then everyone else besides the blackhead will be punished, and the blackhead who has fooled everyone will graduate from this school trip. Yeah, because Monocro has lost his personality somehow, right? Honestly, I'm still not used to this new version of Monocro. With Shobai not participating, there's only 5 of us here. And someone among us here has murdered Teruya. We need to find the culprit and clear this class trial. If we don't, there's no future waiting for us. If we put our heads together, we can do this. Just like we've always done. Now then, please start the discussion. I mean, if there even any need to, we already know who the culprit is. What we do? Mikado Sanoji, you're the only possible suspect in this case. Oh, cutting right to the chase, are we? Well, I've been basically called the killer every trial so far, so this doesn't really surprise me in the slightest. But to suspect me without any real evidence, I thought we've already learned this time and time again that we need to discuss things thoroughly before pointing fingers just to pad out the trial time. Too bad, because I got evidence this time. While the murder was happening, everyone except you and Shobai were together, you see. That's right, hence the only suspects were Shobai and you and Mikado. But according to you, Shobai's not participating in this trial. So does everyone except me have alibis? But if we follow that logic, Sora is a possible suspect as well, no? Wait, what? Are you trying to make fun of us? We just told you that Sora was with us the whole time. But was she really with you the whole time? What? Sure, I wasn't there when you found the body, and I only arrived at the crime scene long after the body discovery. Announcement that I admit. But every one of you were split apart until you saw that video and decided to head to the broadcasting room. What, how did you know about that? Sora, Yuruko, and Yuki, who were all in Sora's room, had each split up. And while they were alone, the mysterious video was broadcast on every monitor in Higa City. My goodness. Teruya's portrait. After witnessing such horror, you each guessed the room in the video to be the West Broadcasting Room and headed there. In other words, the time you were together was only after you gathered in the Twin Towers, at the Twin Towers. How do you know about all these details? I heard it directly from Sora. Isn't that right, dear? While I was unfortunate enough to not arrive at the crime scene on time to learn about the case, I thought to myself, don't I have the right to at least know what had happened? So you say you didn't know. The nerve of telling such lies. You're the culprit and we all know it. Won't be so sure of that, Yuruko. More importantly, I have concrete evidence for why I am suspecting Sora. Would you care for a duel? Let me preface this by saying I'm not doing this out of spite, Sora. By all means, I would have loved to take everything cautiously step by step to find the culprit. But when Yuruko starts off the trial by suspecting me of all people, I've got no choice but to rebuttal. Wouldn't you agree? Can you even fight against my rebuttal, I wonder? No, I will just get my butt kicked. This is not nice. Yuruko's in out connecting bridge, sprinklers, monochrome file. What, I know, I forgot how to do this. Oh, I got, like... Okay, there was no weak spots in that. What's the point of this? I'm obviously not the culprit. If nobody has an alibi during the broadcast like you said, then does that make me specifically the prime suspect? Have you still not realized? Wow. You're one of the one who... And... Since because suspecting me so much is a little bit unsettling. I need to consider the timing of things, when I'm sure I'll be able to refute him. Okay, the timing of things. So, obviously it's not, alibi list. Whoops. Why were there no weak spots? Oh. She didn't go to the north. Okay, the west area. But Yuki didn't go north, that's the weird thing. He went south, didn't he? Let me try actually refuting Yuki went north. That's a weird one to refute, but I think that's actually the wrong one. What? Everyone's alibi is empty is correct. I can't read that big one, that's the problem. Being within process, everyone was alone. In other words, here's the question, who was in the best position to murder Teruya? The answer to that is you, Sora. Okay. Have you still not realized why I suspect you? You yourself, didn't you, went to the north, and you were going to the east, and yet... The broadcasting room, those Sora, stayed in the west, left, right, twin. Am I wrong? Okay, so that's not in the first one, because... Okay, this is nonsense. Yuki went north is wrong, Yuki went south, but we'll continue. Didn't have enough time. Oh. Oh, refute the timing of things. So I refute did not have enough time, okay. I might use the wrong truth bullet, though. Oh! Okay, so that's the wrong arrow. That's gonna give me a red, right? Oh, it gives me just a blue off. Whoops. Wrong type of arrow. Okay. Oh, it's gonna give me another one. What's Yuriko's account? Didn't have enough time to perform the deed. Okay, I gotta pause here. Okay, I'm back and ready to jump back in. I just don't forget what Yuriko's account was. I thought Yuriko's account was about... Well, Yuriko talked about cyanide. She talked about white phosphorus. What did she talk about specifically as her own account? Well, let's try using it. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna lose a red heart right now. File, alibi list, connecting bridge, sprinklers, Yuriko's account. Okay. Have you not still realized yourself, didn't you? You went to north, Yuruko to east, and yet the west place, so those two didn't have time. Sora, you stayed and went to the... Let's try this. Whoops. That just did not shoot. It just refused to cooperate with me. Great. No, why was that? Why, I guess I missed it again. Oh, I'm losing stars for that, I guess. Okay, I didn't lose stars for that miss. Oh, but that, I lost a star for being on the losing end. Okay. Okay, I get it. The arrow thing is... You can go beyond... Oh, okay. That was just overthinking it ridiculously. F. Maybe I don't want to save the game. I want to start the trial over. No, I'll continue. That's just how well I did. You. So let me get this straight, Mikado. Immediately after Yuki and Yuruko left the west area, I headed straight for the broadcasting room to film that video. Precisely. I'll give you credit where credit is due. Your logic is indeed sound. I did have the time and resources to broadcast that video. So what are you saying? However, that also implies that applies to you, doesn't it? Between the two of us, I'd say you're the one with the more suspicious alibi. You're trying to make it sound like our alibis don't matter and we're all suspects. But at least us four can prove that we were in the locations we said we were in our alibis. However, not a single person even saw or knew where you were during the incident. From our perspective, Mikado, you have zero concrete info about your alibi. To use your own words, aren't you in the perfect condition to commit the crime? Sora's right, both Yuruko and I can prove that we were in the east and south areas respectively through our key card. Yeah, but for some reason he said that Yuki went north. Histories. Irona proved her alibi by meeting up with Yuruko. That's right, I was running towards the west area after watching the broadcast when I met Yuruko. Yeah, that much I'm sure of. Can you prove you were in some other place when the video was being broadcasted? More importantly, even the people in the south and east areas managed to arrive at the crime scene on time. And yet you arrived way after the announcement was made. What made you so busy, I wonder? As you've established, our alibis are not concrete. I might have easily committed this murder as I was readily in the West area. But if we go by that logic, you, whose alibi is non-existent, are pretty suspicious as well. Actually, I'd say you'd be in the best position to murder of any of us. You're most absolutely right. Let's not forget about this crucial information. What? Are you for real now? You were all in saying that Sora's the culprit. Now you think you can get out scot-free? I mean, didn't I say from the start I wanted to find the culprit step by step, from one clue to another? But I had no choice but to present my rebuttal when you accused me of murder out of nowhere. What do you mean out of nowhere? I said that because you are the culprit. Yuruko, what's up, Sora? Let's stop that train of thought for now. I'm not trying to cover up for Mikado, but there are other discussions that need to be held right now. Also, do think that Mikado was suspicious, but there is no need to rush things. We can point fingers after we discuss everything thoroughly, right? I guess you're right, Sora. Sorry. Wait, I basically said the same thing. Why listen to her, but not me? Hey, Mikado, would you mind just shutting up and stop pretending that you're helping? You didn't even participate in the other class trial discussions. Why trying to be active in this trial only makes you all the more suspicious, you know? Wait, no, you've got it all wrong. I always try to be my best in trials. It's just that every time I spoke, I was rudely ignored by everyone. Whatever, how about we start talking about the case more in depth? About the case then, where should we start? Let's hold the questions of who's the culprit for now, and try to reimagine how the case went down step by step. To summarize the case, the summation of the case, I see. I'll do my best to cooperate. How the hell are you going to help at all? You weren't even there when it all happened. But I at least heard the basics of what happened from Sora. Yuruko, we all agree that Mikado is unbearable, but for this case only, now we are about to give him a chance. How about we give him a chance to talk? Above all, we only have 5 participants for this trial. With that low number, every word spoken from every person here should count. Well, if you say so, then all right. So, it is agreed that I can speak freely then? Well then. First and foremost, I think we should all agree that this case can start with that broadcast. He's right, the video of a mysterious someone approaching the faint Teruya with a knife in the west. Broadcasting room. Let's talk about that video which started it all. Projector film, broken window, Yuruko's account, broadcasting room cameras. Okay. It crashed. I'm gonna start the whole trial over because I could redo that first one, but that's not how this works. This is a Let's Play. Okay. Spam our way back to where we were. Okay. Let's account broadcast room cameras. Let's try to find something that's wrong, I guess. The video is broadcasted around 7 p.m. I seriously established none of us have alibis during this time period. I guess that's true. Sora was in the west area, Yuki was in the east, and Yuruko and I were... I was in the north area, in case you were curious. Okay, you don't have anything free. Immediately after watching that video, everyone except Mikado headed straight to the top floor of the West Twin Tower. But the door was locked, and none of us were able to enter. So we eventually broke down the door and entered the room. But after the sprinkler incident, Teruya was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, when we entered the east broadcast room to search for him. We found the door was Taria was in there being stabbed to death. It's like the dead corpse moved on its own. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I gotta pause here because I gotta eat my sausages. Okay, I'm back. Yes, save the game. Hold on, Yuki. Taria wasn't stabbed to death. But there's a stab wound on his chest. Monochrome file didn't describe any other injuries. I checked it out myself. Of course there are no other injuries. That's because he died by poisoning. What? The tip of Taria's fingers and toes had turned blue, and there were also pinkish spots near his thighs and back. These are the telltale signs of poisoning. To be precise, cyanide poisoning at that. Oh my. You could tell just by looking at those marks? That's amazing, Sora. That wasn't me. It was Yuriko. I don't know if that was well, I don't know that well myself. It's not like I actually studied medicine. I just heard it from some crazy drunk doctor that wandered into my joint once. I have my fair share of medical knowledge, and I agree with you to your observations. Cyanide is a chemical suffocant, so to speak. It's a poison that prevents any living being from breathing properly. From the cyanosis to the pink spots, they're all signs of oxygen depletion. Wonderful work, Yuriko. Coming from you, even a compliment sounds disgusting. Wait, if Taria was poisoned to death, what, then how come that video showed someone holding a knife? Or is that something else? Well, as I said before, there is a knife wound on his chest. Perhaps the culprit poisoned Taria, then created a stab wound on a dead corpse. If Shobai was here, he would have been able to determine if that knife wound was made before or after Taria was killed. Now before I get into that, there's a whole other riddle that needs to be solved. Mikado and his ADHD. Poisoning is a quite inconspicuous method of murder, yet the killer announced their crimes knowingly using the broadcasting room. When you think about why you would choose to poison someone to get rid of them, the killer's little talent show becomes a bit contradictory, wouldn't you agree? You got a point. It was as if they were saying, come and stop me if you can. Okay, here's my theory. Maybe it was the culprit's intention all along to gather us at the West Broadcasting Room. What do you mean? Recall that the West Broadcasting Room was locked from the inside. But what if the killer wanted to emphasize specifically the fact that everyone by having a broadcast be sent to the whole island? And if we think about it that way, holding a knife leaves a much stronger impact than just holding some poison. Right? Then what would be the point of creating a locked room and telling everyone about it? When we broke down the lock and entered the broadcasting room, we didn't see anyone inside, right? Well, but that doesn't make sense. How would there be a locked room if there was nobody inside? Then that means... And it seems that the culprit laid out this incredible locked room's mystery for us to solve. They say every good mystery fiction always features one. Even Emma used it back then, remember? The broadcast wasn't the main show. It was just a small teaser to lure everyone to the crime scene. Before we talk about who did it, it seems like we need to solve this locked room mystery. A locked room mystery. A room that could only be locked from the inside. And only the dead victim was inside when we locked it. The mysterious person inside the video had somehow vanished from the locked West Broadcasting Room. And now they have to put our heads together to figure out how that happened. No, I don't need an explanation of non-stop. Sprinklers, burnt door lock. Okay. Door lock. We had gathered in front of the West Broadcasting Room entrance. Was the culprit already not inside the broadcasting room? Possibly. That seems to be the case. But there was barely any time for that. How did they lock the room and escape during that short amount of time? Oh, I know. What we saw wasn't live footage. Oh. Broadcasting room cameras. Okay. The video is being broadcast. Someone was definitely inside the broadcasting room. Let's see. See, this is why I don't equip show buy skill. Is just because I don't need it. You see, the non-stops aren't the problem in this game. It's the other stuff. No, Iroha, that video has to be live. During our investigation, we confirmed that the broadcasting room can only transmit live footage. Is that so? It's not really a surveillance camera, you see. It has a database. It would actually, if it has a database, it would actually be able to record and store videos. But unfortunately, our broadcasting room lacks any of it. That means when the video was being broadcasted, at that moment, someone was in the West broadcasting room. What is it, Iroha? You've been staring at me for quite a while now. Eek. Is there something you'd like to say? No. Tss, tss. Is there something you want to say? Then you should feel free to say it, Iroha. This is a class trial, after all. We can only proceed if we can each share our thoughts. Well, the thing is, when you first arrived on the top floor of the West Twin Tower, there wasn't anyone there, right? Yeah, there wasn't anyone there when I arrived. But what about that? Then couldn't you have, well, locked and left the room, then pretended you just arrived there? What? Try and say that again, Iroha. No, I'm not trying to accuse her, I just, thought it might be possible. So you're basically trying to say Sora's the culprit. No, I didn't say that. Man, what do you mean you didn't? The person in the video was Sora. That's what you're trying to say, aren't you? Now, that was a surprising remark, considering it came from Iroha of all people. As I said before, I completely agree with Iroha. You said you were all together after you gathered at the top floor of the West Building. That means it's entirely possible for Sora to do the deed, create the locked room mystery, and then regroup with everyone. Let's not forget that Sora was also conveniently in the West area when the crime happened. I don't really get that. You got the East where West switched or something. So you're gonna fight in pairs, huh? Well, bring it on then. I, for one, regrouping with everyone. I don't know a thing about what you did or where you were during the murder. Do you think you have the right to suspect me? Might I remind you, as I was in the North area, I didn't have enough time to do anything. And how are you going to prove that? Yuki and Yuruko's alibis can be proven with the keycard histories. Iroha was seen by Yuruko. Even if you say that you were in the North area, it means nothing if you have no witness to prove it. Well, then I have nothing to say. How unfortunate it is, and there's nothing that can prove my alibi, isn't it? Mikado, you've been trying to pin the murder on Sora ever since the trial started. Don't you think this is very unlike you? Never once did you suspect a specific individual. Are you perhaps panicking? You took the words right out of my mouth, Yuki. What? You're the ones who aren't acting like yourselves. Answer me, what happened in between those two trials? These two trials that made you believe Sora is a saint who never lied once in her life. The last 4 trials were all carried out through logical deduction and through discussions, without personal feelings, that is. I won't say that I'm not a suspect, but there is no real proof that Sora is innocent as well. That's... Have you all forgotten? Once you rely on personal feelings, they will eventually cloud your judgment, preventing us from finding the real culprit. All I wanted to say is that anyone can be a culprit. I know how much you all hate me, but I would prefer if you didn't look on me with jaundiced eyes. But Sora would never. Yuruko, calm down. As much as I hate to admit it, he's right that my alibi is perfect. Sora? Isn't it? It's alright. The truth will eventually reveal itself. Isn't that right, Mikado? Of course, I apologize for derailing your discussion with my short pep talk. Let us continue our talk about the locked room mystery. So Iroha just suspected Sora of locking the broadcasting room herself, pretending she just arrived there. But that isn't as easy as it sounds. Nuh-uh, the door to my room locks itself up when I activate the lock and then close the door. You know, one time I lost the key to a door to one of my rooms and I couldn't get in that room for like forever. What is she even talking about? I guess it's Iroha we're talking about here. Sure, you can create a locked room by activating a lock from inside and then closing the door from the outside, but that wasn't possible with the broadcasting room because we just have to like, you just have to select the bullet there. Iroha, the broadcasting room probably different from the ones you're thinking of. It's not a button-based lock mechanism, but a lever-based one. One that is locked upon holding the door down with a lever. In other words, you can only lock the door only after completely shutting the door. I see, so if we were to try what Iroha suggested by locking the door and then shutting it, you wouldn't be able to shut it in the first place. It doesn't have that, like, taper thing, right? Hence why it becomes a contradiction when there was nobody in the broadcasting room when it was locked. Forget the alibis, just solving how the culprit even managed such a feat is an issue right now. This hurts my brain. But the fact of the matter is, the door was indeed locked and nobody inside the room, right? This is proving to be quite a riddle that the culprit has posed. What method did the culprit actually use to achieve this? No, I don't need a tutorial on non-stop. Although I would prefer it if it didn't crash. Prop cloth. Yuriko's account. Tape residue. Broken window. Okay, tape residue. How did the culprit create a locked room? Maybe the locked room they used a special tool outside. No. There certainly are a lot of props in the storage room to assist in such an act. Perhaps there was another exit we didn't know about. We don't have to refute that, though. What do you mean? Sora mentioned a window being broken, remember? They broke the window and escaped? They did lock the door from the inside, but they just escaped from the locked room to the window? Wouldn't they just follow their death? You forget how high up the Twin Towers actually were? No matter what method the culprit used to create the locked room, there must have been some evidence left over. It can't be that complex, it's probably something that is right in front of us the whole time. Okay, so tape residue. It's the leftover thing, right? Okay, this is not really how you play Danganranpa. You try to find contradictions and refute them, but this is the only way I know how to do this. Yeah, okay. Doing it wrong is wrong. Learn my lesson. Let's try doing it this way, where your broken window somewhere has Yuki's account in it. Right? Okay, you do it that way. Okay, Chobai still would have been useful there. There's just information in the broken window truth bullet about Yuki's test, right? No, Iroha, I don't think that's the case. I first thought of that act as a possibility, but if you would actually fall from that height, you would definitely fall to your doom this time. But they could have used ropes to climb down, like they do in movies. And besides, this is a virtual world. Who knows, you might survive from falling, like if you pass through the floor or something. Wait, no, I'm not saying you're suspicious because you've done that before. Please don't look at it the wrong way. Quit it, Iroha. There's zero possibility of that happening. I also considered it plausible and tried throwing stuff out the window, but actually fell to the ground. Looks like the Tower of Babel was just an anomaly. Why did the culprit break the window? Well, why did the culprit break the window? Did they only do it to make us think they escaped through the window? Was that it? No, the reason they broke the window, that was because they needed to. And the proof for that is... That's confusing. I got it, but it's confusing. Perhaps it was because they needed some glass powder? Glass powder? What are you talking about? I found some lying around in the West broadcast room, more specifically on some burnt scrap paper. The window is made out of glass, right? Maybe the powder was the reason they broke the window. No, a plausible theory, yes, but why would they even sprinkle glass powder onto the paper in the first place? Burnt powder, glass. That's it, Sora. That's it, Yuruko? What's it, Yuruko? There was something bugging me when we were all investigating together, but now it all makes sense. I'll help you out, Sora. Remember the thing I told you about in the broadcast room? I didn't know what it was for back then. Maybe it's the key to solving the locked room mystery. No. No, I missed the projector film. Oh man, why is it cursed like that? Okay. Projector film. Oh. I get it, Yuruko. It's the projector film, isn't it? The powder that was on that film. Projector film? Yep, as I suspected, the powder that was on that film was yellow phosphorus. The glass powder was used to create friction with the yellow phosphorus to cause a fire. What fire, and what was that thing you said before, yellow phosphorus? It's a chemical commonly commonly that was used in matches and such back in the day. Its low burping point made it quite dangerous to use, eventually leading to its discontinuation. How did the culprit get their hands on it then? It's actually easier than you think. This island is a city, and there's literally a place for everything here. That being said, I didn't expect you to have such knowledge of chemistry, Yoruko. It's pretty much obvious to anyone who actually paid attention in class. Okay, but how did they cause friction between them? And if a fire really had occurred, how come nobody noticed it? Another question I might add, what does the fire have anything to do with the locked room mystery again? It certainly does, and it's thanks to Yoruko that we found this out. The important part isn't the yellow phosphorus, the glass powder, nor the sprinklers. That we have to focus on is the projector film itself was used to create the locked room mystery. The projector film itself? Aroha, you asked how the culprit was able to create friction between those two flammable materials, right? It was from the ceiling. It was because it all occurred from the ceiling that we were able to notice it as we were busy looking at Teruya and that horrifying visual. To be precise, it had to do with the sprinklers. The sprinklers in the broadcasting room were shaped like a ring, so you'd be able to hang something on it. Now hold on just a minute. You're not actually going to suggest that they actually hung the film onto the sprinklers, are you? How would they opt for such a cumbersome method? He's right, and the broadcasting room ceiling was super high. You could use a ladder, but there wasn't anyone to use a ladder. Wasn't even anyone to use a ladder. Don't you worry about that. Even with the ceiling high and nobody there, the fire was going to automatically occur once we entered the broadcasting room. What? Didn't you all hear what Sora's been trying to say? That's why the projector film was used. They specifically used an old-fashioned film projector that has its go through a loop. Yuruko's right. This locked room mystery was possible only because it was an old-fashioned film projector. The proof that the projector film was used, the evidence found on the door should be the key. Tape residue. The lock on the broadcasting room's door had tape on it. Tape? Wait a minute. Oh, so that's how it is. What? I didn't quite get that. What about it? Simply put, this is what happened. They pulled out the film from the projector to make it go through the sprinklers on the ceiling. And they taped it onto the door's lock. Then they sprinkled yellow phosphorus onto the film and positioned the scrap of paper with the glass powder in between the sprinklers and the film. Now that would happen if the projector was turned on at this point. Well, imagine the film would start rolling. Correct, the projector would start pulling the film inwards. And with that, the lock's lever orientation becomes horizontal from vertical due to the film pulling it. I get it now, so using this method, you're able to lock the door automatically just by turning the projector on, and leaving the room with the door closed. Yes, and the great thing about this trick is that the state is preserved until someone opens the door. The film won't roll anymore due to the tape on the lock holding it steady. I see, indeed, this trick is magnificent. But how would you exactly be able to cause a fire from this mechanism? Simple, the film just had to resume rolling. The locked door cannot be unlocked and opened by normal means, so someone has to eventually break the door down. And that's exactly what happened. When the door gets destroyed, the film is no longer held still by the tape. So the film will begin rolling again. Exactly, and because the culprit has set it up so that the film went through the sprinklers, it will naturally move through them when it retracts. On the fat film, the culprit has sprinkled yellow phosphorus, and on the sprinklers, the paper with glass powder on it is attached to it. Now that you imagine what would happen if the film grazes the paper at high speeds. Flames? Yep, this is how they created friction to cause the fire. It was right next to the sensor. When we had broken into the broadcasting room, there was this weird video casting of Teruyu's body, remember? Casted on Teruyu's body, remember? That was just for show. That was the video on the film being played right as we destroyed the tape holding it. Of course, there was also the purpose of misguiding our attention in that dark room. So the sprinklers had activated immediately because of the flame it had detected was right beneath it. That was the reason why we were showered with water soon after we entered. How's that? We've now solved the locked room mystery. No, we haven't solved that the culprit got out. Phew. Mikado, are you, amazing. I applaud your detective skills. I most sincerely do. And I think I was worried you wouldn't make it without Shobai. Oh, how you've all grown. Marveling because someone solved your riddle, huh? You really are a psycho, you know that? Oh no, you've got it all wrong. I was genuinely astonished by your intellect, you see. Well, we'll know soon whether Mikado's the culprit or not when we talk this through. Now that we've solved the locked room mystery, it's finally time to talk about the culprit. Hold on, why did we solve the mystery of how they locked the floor and escaped? Aren't there still other matters to solve first? Getting feisty, are we trying to tug on every little detail in hopes of something? No, Yuruko, he's right. What? The locked room mystery has been solved, sure. We've proved that it's possible to lock the door without anyone being inside the broadcasting room. But about that, there actually was someone inside the broadcasting room, Teruya. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, I see. You start rolling the film, and then when it goes taut, it closes the door. You run out the door, and it goes taut, it closes it, and then it stays taut there. Okay. That's funky. That reminds me. Teruya had disappeared from the room when we re-entered the room after the sprinklers were turned off. Right? So how'd that happen? It's probably the sprinklers, like, you know, how the sprinklers were string enough to blind our sight with water, right? They used that to move Teruya while we weren't looking. Why else would they utilize the sprinklers into their plan? Yuruko, that's impossible. Whatever method they used, if Teruya had been moved out of the broadcasting room, he would have certainly passed us waiting in front of the door. If it's not outside the broadcasting room, then maybe he was inside the storage. Both broadcasting rooms have storage rooms, right? Maybe there's a secret passageway between those two rooms. I can guarantee you there was none of the sort. The bridge is the only thing that connects the two buildings. And even that was unusable due to bugs. You see, they're all presuming a logical fallacy. From the proposition of someone moved Teruya away to hold someone else needs to be inside the broadcasting room. That doesn't invalidate the whole purpose of solving the locked room mystery. It ain't a locked room mystery if the culprit was actually inside the whole time. So what are you suggesting we do? How did Teruya disappear? So how do you get what's the problem here? If we suppose your locked room mystery theory is true, then you're saying that Teruya disappeared out of thin air. Everyone, don't tell me you're all stuck. This is a predicament. At this rate, we'll never even find out what method the culprit used, let alone who they are. They used your head instead of leaving everything to us. All you're doing is complaining. Well, it's kind of hard to say anything when every single person here is suspecting you. Shut up, Mikado. Can't you see you're trying to think here? Jeez. Case in point, you all saw that, didn't you? Why would I say anything if this is what happens all the time? We knew we needed Shobai after all. If he were here, we wouldn't be. Shobai. We didn't particularly like him, but without him we wouldn't have come this far. No, it's not just him. Kokoro Kanade. We're all standing here because of the help of those who are no longer with us. So we are really incapable of doing anything without them? Can't we even survive through a single trial? I gotta pause. Okay, I'm back. Can't we even survive through a single trial? Those are probably made by the same team of sprite artists. Like each character is so stylistically different. That isn't true. We can do this too. Because I've got my protagonist divine luck. Think what Kokoro Kanade and Shobai would have done in a situation like this. Think what they have come up with. If I were them, why do I see... There's something fake going on here. It looks like Kinjo and Rei. If I were them. Yuki, did you say something about the storage room? Well, yeah, we did find this body inside the storage room, right? I mean, it was the east instead of the west, but yeah. About the storage room, what do you think made it suddenly appear? Suddenly appear? When we first arrived on the 5th island, there was no door to the storage room, in the broadcasting room. We only took notice of it after the culprit's broadcasting. Wait, no, even when we entered the west broadcasting room, there was no door behind Teruya then either. I can't really remember how it was with all the commotion back then. No, she's right. When that video was being broadcasted on Teruya's body, yeah, there was definitely no room behind him. Was that so? I think I remember it. Or not. No, I'm positive. We only found the door after the sprinklers had stopped. Right, whatever the culprit did, be it carrying Teruya over or making the door appear, the only time they were able to do any of that was only during when the sprinklers were active. But why and how? Forgetting making Teruya disappear, how would you be able to suddenly make a door appear from a wall with nothing? Virtual world? I guess even that isn't going to cut it this time, right? Maybe there is some hidden mechanism within the room. Like, you know, in mangas, where if you push a button, the wall moves in to reveal a hidden space. Or something like that. Is this really the time to talk about manga? When it kind of is a manga? You don't have the brains when you should at least shut up. Eek, sorry. Huh. I can't help but get the feeling that something is off. The part about the locked room mystery that we just solved. Saw something up you've been staring up at the ceiling for quite a while. Yaruko? Why sprinklers? What? The locked room mystery that we just solved. Why did they cause a fire to activate the sprinklers? You guys are the ones who explained that to us, remember? They used the sprinklers to look the film and hold the door. That was only about how the sprinkler shape and position was used. You could create a locked room using only the projector and film without ever needing to cause a fire with friction from the yellow phosphorus. You're right. Why did they suddenly cause a fire? They caused the fire to activate the sprinklers. The question then shifts to why they set up such a convoluted mess just to activate the sprinklers. I recall you saying something about the water streams being strong enough to blind your sight. Perhaps they tried to do something in that time? Or they want us to leave the broadcast room to do something without being seen? Do something without being seen, and what would that something even be? There wasn't anyone inside the broadcasting room to begin with, so even with the water blinding us, there wasn't anything secretive to be done. I think that activating the sprinklers itself was the point. Activating the sprinklers itself? Think. The irregularity that had happened in the sprinklers' activation. These events must be connected. We already solved the locked room mystery. We're not objecting that fact. We're only looking at it from a different angle. Tackle each question one by one and we'll surely find the truth. No. No, this won't be as easy as I think it's gonna be, so. Okay. Don't mess up. Whoa. Oh, the hitbox was merciful. That would not have been too hard. Sheath by activating the sprinklers. Move Teruya's body. Wash something off. Right? Wash something off. Yeah, that was not too hard to figure out. Reveal the door, right? What did the culprit try to wash by activating the sprinklers? The wall. This part would have been hell. Thanks for the tip, commenter. Why did the culprit try to wash the walls with water? To get rid of a drawing, right? The wall was dirty. You need to go with better distractors, Linuch. Wakarimash does. I understood. Well, way to perfect that. Yes, Yuri is mad. Yeah, Yuri is mad hacks, I guess. I've got it. I know how Teruya disappeared and how the door suddenly appeared. Really, Sora? The point was that the two things happened at once. It wasn't after Teruya was gone that the door had appeared. That's because Teruya had disappeared. Because Teruya had disappeared, the door was visible. Care to explain? Do you know why the culprit activated the sprinklers? They tried to wash the wall off through the sprinklers. Wash the walls? If I may get straight to the point, the door to the storage room was always there. The culprit has simply hidden it by drawing on top of it. Draw? Wait, what do you mean talking about that again? What are you talking about again? The Teruya we saw in the West Broadcasting Room wasn't real at all. It was just a painting of the fainted Teruya drawn on the wall. Yep. Hold on, that doesn't make any sense. If it was a drawing, we would have noticed it right away. Trick art. So that's it, right, Sora? Yes, Electric Asylum art kind of stuff. Trick art. It's something used in hyper-realism style arts. You draw it on a plane, but it looks like it's 3D. A good trick art can mess with your depth perception to create an illusion that an object actually exists. As Yuruko said, the culprit had drawn Teruya on top of the door. It was to make it seem like instead of the door, Teruya's corpse lay there. I see, so that the water from the sprinklers washed away the drawing. Then Teruya's drawing on the wall would disappear, revealing the door that was originally here. But would that really be possible? We're gonna accuse Iroha, aren't we? And do we have any proof that there was a drawing? It does sound like something that came out of nowhere. But if the Teruya we saw in the West Broadcasting Room was real, then that wouldn't have happened then. If I trace my steps back to reveal what exactly had bugged me back then. No, I don't want an explanation. Wait. So it's not body. Bosk Bog. Oh, body. Oh, okay. Body. The discovery. Time limit. Wait. Okay. Discovery. What? Wait, do I have to do the DY again first? Oops. What? Wait, you can't just pin a line. What? Okay, fine. Okay. And then you have to do DI. And then SC. And then ERY. That is tricky. You have to remember which ones were like already, you had to select which ones were already there after you've messed up and ran out of time. Okay, push that. It's not as bad as if I didn't have that skill, though. The body discovery announcement. Back then, I was too busy panicking to notice, but something was off about it. When we broke down the door and entered the room, we foresaw Teruya's body, but the body discovery announcement was not made. I also noticed that too, but I don't think I commented on it. But I definitely noticed, why is there no body discovery announcement? It's like, because I thought it was like a picture, right? Why was that the case? Because it was just a drawing instead of the real deal. You're right, with 4 people discovering the body, the announcement should have been made. But the announcement was only made after we found the body again in the East Broadcasting Room. And I guess the player gets tricked because they think, oh, maybe Teruya wasn't dead yet, or wasn't actually dead or something, right? Perhaps it was just the case that Teruya was still alive when you found him in the West Broadcasting Room. Mikado says that, the corpse was found in the East storage room was cold and rigid. Only a few minutes had passed between when we first discovered him in the West and when we arrived at the East Broadcasting Room. If he had died during this time, his body should have been still warm and soft. Teruya was poisoned, right? I imagine he probably died a while ago. After all, you couldn't find him after searching everywhere for days, right? I agree, Teruya was probably kept inside the East storage room all this time after being poisoned to death. The door to the storage room was hidden by paint covering the walls. So of course we wouldn't find him. We didn't even know the existence of the place he was in. This is amazing. We've solved every trick related to the crime scene. So all you gotta do is find the person who did this. The culprit's identity. Kinda ironic, isn't it? All this questioning about how they did it is basically revealing who did it as well. I mean, do we have to even spell it out? We all know that there is only one person capable of doing this. Exactly as Yuriko said. The trick was only possible by one individual among us. I wanted to talk more, but now that we've uncovered the truth, we have to reveal that person. The identity of the killer revealed Teruya. Well, I so thought it was... I thought so much that it was Mikado. But this is who they want us today, right? The culprit who fooled our eyes through hyper-realistic paintings and killed Teruya. You've been silent for quite a while now, haven't you? Iroha Nijue? Okay, let's see if this twists. I don't know if it's gonna twist, though. If that's really how this is, like, okay. Here's the funny thing. We already got the two... We already got these, we already had those, so we can unequip them. And then we can, equip other things. Right? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna save the game first. I mean, his painting on the wall was kind of an easy thing to guess, so... Making it a Roha, well, okay. Aroha, this trick could have only been done by you. You're the culprit of this case. Iroha? Wait, this is all based on the fact that it was a drawing on the wall, correct? But can we really be sure on that? What is it with you again? I just have a hard time believing it, that's all. Even if it's a drawing meant to fool our eyes. In the end, a drawing is a drawing. I'm sure there would have been clear discrepancies compared to the real one we noticed. We didn't have any chances to look at the painting to actually notice those differences. Before the case happened, it was just white paint covered some wall, so we barely even took notice of it. And even after when the crime had occurred, we only saw the painting of Teruya twice. Through the video announcement, and we actually broke into the room, right? Yes, and the former really shouldn't count considering the subpar resolution and video quality. Even when we actually witnessed it with our own eyes, it was blurred with the creepy video from the projector. The room was dark and he was far away. Definitely not enough for us to see through it as a painting from a glance. And since the sprinklers had erased the drawing afterwards, we had no way of checking it thoroughly. But even with those limitations, you still need to be a real professional to fool us. And the only one with enough skills to produce such a delicate paintings is you, Iroha. Iroha, if there's anything you'd like to object to, tell us now. I don't know what you're saying. That's funny. So it's, you make it with haze, nose, a mo in the middle, and another haze, a mouth. Whoa, she's vibrating like crazy. I'm not the culprit. I'm not the culprit. You might not know this, but trick art is not an easy task. But aren't you the super high school level artist? I recall you bragging numerous times about being able to draw paintings of any genre. Even super high school level artist has something they can't do. Iroha, although we've all suspected you for a long time, I can't say I feel good having to be the bad cop here. But if she really is the culprit, we can't let our feelings cloud our judgment. Let us prove that Iroha is the culprit. No. Emptying bridge, Yukaruko's account, prop cloth. Okay, we're gonna use the prop cloth, obviously. Oh dear, my health. The Teruya from the west was just a drawing, that must be obvious. The real Teruya was already dead inside the east storage room. You are the person who can draw such convincing paintings, Iroha. But I'm not the culprit. The culprit. And who else here could produce such paintings? I don't know. Hold on, I got one question to ask you. Sora said the sprinklers had washed away the painting on the wall. But the... Got it. There's no need to worry about the washed off paint. All the culprit had to do was mop the paint up from the prop cloth with the plot cloth they had readily prepared. Prop cloth, you mean that dirty piece of blanket on the scene? Yes, I imagine it got stained from being used multiple times as a stage prop. The cloth they used to soak up the paint that had trickled down from the wall. It was so stained that we didn't acknowledge the paint soaked on it before. But doesn't that paint stain make the theory of the culprit using the painting more concrete? Agreed, if it weren't for the painting, there wasn't any reason to put that there near the wall. As previously mentioned, the storage room door was already sealed by paint when we first investigated the city. In other words, whoever did it was planning to kill Teruya right from the day we arrived here. Iroha, you really did kill Teruya? No, I'm not. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not the culprit. Oh, wait. That's it. That's gotta be it. Iroha? Yeah, I thought of a way now. I got it now. I can't be the culprit, cuz I didn't mean it like I came up with it now. I meant, anyway, I just have to tell you why I can't be the culprit, right? And here I go. No, time to get my butt kicked by another rebuttal showdown. This is the worst for me. Broken window, sprinklers, connecting bridge. I know that I'm the only one who can draw here, but I have an alibi. An alibi. Culprit, I would have broadcasted, but the room was on the east, whatever. Saw me there. Even Yuki said so. Forget the painting, I couldn't have committed the crime. They were broadcasted. But the room... walk all the way around. Okay, so we're gonna connecting bridge it. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I was like, everybody, like, I think The weird thing is that Mikado was in the video. That's the problem. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. Nailed it. No, Iroha, there is the connecting bridge. You can move between the two broadcasting rooms quickly using the bridge. What? But Sora, wasn't the connecting bridge? Sora, it seems that you've forgotten about how the bridge isn't currently in operation right now. Did I not spend precious time ever since arriving on this island running a route to tell all of you how dangerous it would be to try to cross the bridge? He's right, Sora, don't get me wrong, Iroha's the most suspicious one here. But that logic doesn't make sense. We couldn't use the bridge, so Iroha's alibi is sound. I'm not sure about that. Was the bridge really not in use? What do you mean by that? Don't anyone feel like there was something off about the bridge? Both when Mikado first told us about the bridge and when we were investigating it. I felt like there was strangeness to it. Strangeness? That was when I thought of a possibility. I was confident on it once I had figured out about Iroha's art trick. But the problem is, there's no real way to prove this. If you are concerned about the investigation of a crime scene, it can be re-allowed if there's a majority vote to do so. What? If you're concerned about the investigation of a crime scene, it can be re-allowed if there's a majority vote to do so. Now hold on, Monocro, you're not supposed to... A re-examination, you say? So an investigation is still possible during the class trial? Just in case someone is... The class will be given a chance to pause the class trial and re-examine the crime scene under the majority rule. Since when do we have such a rule in this system? Everyone, this may be our chance to solve the mystery of the connecting bridge. Monocro, please allow us to re-investigate the connecting bridge once more. You need a majority vote to proceed. Didn't you hear me? I told you to wait, you useless bird. What do you even think you're doing? I never gave you administrative rights to do this, like, wait. I see, the reset. I don't know what he's muttering to himself, but why is he acting so flustered about this? This is getting real fishy, Sora. I'm all up for it. We need to get a second look at that bridge again. Same here. Everyone, should we just focus on the trial? Now have a majority vote. The class trial will be paused immediately, and we will move to the corresponding room. Using virtual reality? We really left the trial grounds. I guess it's still the same building. Well, all we have to do is go up the elevator after all. Sora, watch out. I'm gonna be fine. See, what did I tell you? The bug is still present. Now, how about we leave this dangerous place? Watch me carefully, everyone. Is that your handbook? I'm going to throw it onto the bridge. Wait, but Sora, won't it fall down and break? Losing your handbook is against the rules. Let's not do anything reckless. No, my theory is correct. We won't have to worry about that. What do you mean? What? I knew it. What, Sora, are you really going to... As you can see, you can cross the bridge. They use the same trick they used in the broadcasting room wall on this bridge. They painted on the floor, wall, and ceiling of the bridge a completely mimic the outside scenery. For real? Hold on. You're right, it was a drawing all along. You can quite literally rub the paint off. Once you go on the bridge, the illusion of the drawing seems to wear off. Trick arts are designed to fool you only if you look at it from a specific angle. If you look in front of the bridge entrance, it looks like the bridge has disappeared from that perspective. But from this angle, it doesn't look anything like real scenery. How did you figure this out, Sora? Of course, I didn't even have a hint of doubt at first, nor would I have dared testing it. Even I myself was fooled. When I first opened the door of this bridge, I felt like it threw my brain the feeling that my body's about to drop from this height. I finally realized what the strangeness that I felt when Mikado had caught me from falling was. There was no wind blowing here. Oh, so that's how it was. This is a building of extreme height. If there was no bridge and there's only open space, you'd expect a strong breeze due to the altitude difference. But that was just a hunch, so I was about to further test it during the investigation. Then I ran out of time thanks to Mikado. And we figured out that the culprit had used paintings in their murder trick. I immediately thought of the possibility of this being the case. I see, me and Yuki never actually checked the bridge out ourselves, so we had no idea. Only Sora was able to come to this conclusion, since she was the only one who checked the bridge with her own eyes. Well, we all did have a lot of stuff going on ever since we've arrived here. And this proves that the connecting bridge was usable when the crime had happened. Well then. Iroha, what do you have to say for yourself? Say something, come on, we're all waiting here. So I guess this is confirmed then? There's one thing that's been bugging me. So if Iroha's the culprit, that means she even came up with the locked room mystery trick with the projector. But do you really think that's possible with her intellect? Well, she's an idiot, I guess. You're right, how can a hopeless idiot like me think of something that smart? You're really gonna go that low? No, everyone, even that can be possible. In this case wasn't done by Iroha alone, there was an accomplice. Is that so? You're really carrying this case, Sora. Think of the connecting bridge we found just now. As you now know, the bridge was made invisible using trick art, but was always usable. The reason we didn't question the bridge's existence was because someone told us that the connecting bridge was not in use due to a bug. My issue is like, you'd have to paint the entire bridge, wouldn't you? Whatever. With that, we have our conclusion. The person who fed us false information about the bridge, they were an accomplice for this case. Wouldn't you agree, Mikado? Mikado is an accomplice? No. Why did it take me so long to realize it? Every time I got near the connecting bridge, Mikado had stopped me somehow. When I first opened the bridge entrance door, when I tried to visit the bridge during the investigation. But my, what a close call. You would have definitely felt your doom if it wasn't for my one super awesome wizard guy that also can teleport. Oh well, I'm doing my best to investigate, just have to... So he was always on the lookout. That way nobody would figure out the truth about the connecting bridge. If we did know about this world's existence as a virtual world, we wouldn't have believed his story about the bridge being bring a bug. Wait, so did he openly admit this world being a virtual world just to lead us to that? I didn't know if he had calculated that far, but Mikado is definitely an accomplice for this case, that's for sure. Now hold on, all I did was inform you about this world's rules. I myself knew nothing about the connecting bridge. What do you mean you knew nothing? You clearly set this up with Iroha. There's actually another evidence that proves you were teaming up with Iroha. The video itself. This also has something to do with the paintings. Can I explain, Sora? As I previously mentioned, the storage room door was always covered with paint the day after we had arrived. But don't you find that a bit weird? When did the culprit have time to paint the wall? Well, didn't you say that the culprit had planned the murder as soon as they arrived here? No, that can't be. When we arrived on this island, it was already midnight. Monocro said that the Twin Towers were off limits during midnight, remember? I mean, nighttime? And that was another lie by Mikado. What? So that was Mikado's lie? I knew something was up when I first heard that rule. I kind of glossed over it since it was Monocro who announced it, but he specifically said, this rule is going to be enforced at the same level as the school rules. But why even do that? If you wanted to ban it, wouldn't it be better to state it in the rules directly? Good point. So this is how it went. Oh, I didn't pick up on that at the time. Mikado and Iroha worked together from the start to murder Teruya upon arriving on the 5th island. And after they announced a false rule of not permitting entrance to the twin buildings, they went straight to work. Yet that was weird when you really think about it, calling us suddenly in the middle of the night to make us walk across the bridge. They were in on it the whole time. Yes, the plan was likely executed by Iroha, but the planning itself was probably done by Mikado. With this, they've worked through Iroha's defense of, I'm too stupid to think of all this. So there's any if there's any objection to the theory we proposed, we'd like to hear them now. Well, well, well. Why don't you trust me, everyone? You're all so bad at this. Why would I team up with someone like this to murder someone? I would never. We were gonna defeat Void together with the power of friendship, remember? The power of friendship. You're do you even know why you're not surprised you're teaming up? We're not surprised you were teaming up with Mikado. It's because we long suspected you as the last Void member. What? Yaruko. It's alright, Sora. I mean, there's no point in hiding it anymore. Iroha needs you, you're a Void, aren't you? Eek. No. I am not a Void. Void Silbai, you ran off, you see. Ever since Nike revealed himself as a Void, your actions were undoubtedly suspicious. Now, in the process of elimination, it's obvious that you're the one who pushed Sora off the Tower of Babel. Now, wait just a minute. It is still too early to decide Iroha's the culprit. We still have, Iroha? What do I do, Mikado? You told me it wouldn't turn out this way. You shut your mouth. I don't even know what you're talking about. Mikado, you told me I wouldn't die if I did that. Please save me. You told me I'd live if I listened to everything you said. Alright, I get it, so shut up. Can't you see I'm doing my best to think of a rebuttal right now? Mikado. So, can I take that as a yes? That's you're a Void and you're a Void and the culprit? No, wait, no, that's not it. I'm not the culprit, I'm not a Void either. I just wanted to... I don't know anything about this. Resisting till the end, huh, Iroha? She's basically admitted her crime at this point. Let's send her off with the final nail in the coffin. No. Why is it Bob Ross-esque? Oh man, these have a lot of health on them. Oh, forget about the reload. Most people are gonna like write arrow key through this section of the video, right? It's so boring to watch. It's like nothing going on. It's boring to play too. The last remaining void. Nailed it. Iroha, you asked Mikado for help just now, didn't you? The one act implies three other things in this trial. One, Iroha is a void member. Two, Mikado is an accomplice who helped Iroha in this case. And three, you're the culprit who killed Teruya. How come? How does that paint me as the culprit? Haha, paint me. Alright then, as a void member, so what? That doesn't make me the culprit, does it? You gotta be kidding me. The culprit should have went straight to the Twin Towers to work on the broadcasting room walls and the bridge on the night we arrived. The work was already done the best morning when I investigated, so the only time frame the culprit had was the night before. That means the culprit knew that the rule was not allowing entrance to Twin Towers during nighttime was a false rule. The rule was a lie made up by Mikado, but it was announced to us not by him but Mono Crow. So there was no way anyone would know that rule was a lie, nor did anyone have any reason to doubt it. Unless that person is a void member. What? If you're a void, then you would know in advance that such a rule didn't exist. In fact, you would never know that unless you were sided with the mastermind. Thus, the person able to perform this case's murder trick was someone with the required art skills and someone who's a void member. And it just so happens to be that you admitted that you're a void member. This is equivalent to admitting you're the culprit. Let me also emphasize the fact that Iroha was deep asleep at the bus station when we arrived. Wake up, Iroha. You're going to catch a cold if you sleep here. Sora, where are we? We're outside, Iroha. How tired could you be to fall asleep in a place like this? Well, I don't know why I'm not bothering to read the flashback. I didn't think much about it at the time, but now I think about it. It's because she spent an all-nighter drawing paintings, huh? Exactly. That's not true. It's Mikado. He's the culprit. Turns out he's actually better at painting than I am. Why would I ever kill Teruya? We were really close. We're rainbow buddies. We talked to each other a lot, and then I think it's time to give up. What? It's over. I tried my best, but you blurted out everything with your own mouth. This plan was a failure. I need to at least save myself out of this. It was a mistake leaving it to someone as stupid as you. No, you can't. So you're fessing up that you're an accomplice who helped Iroha in this case? I wouldn't call coming up with the entire plan as just plain helping if I were you. Do you seriously think this useless idiot could think of anything herself? All she did was just carry out the dirty deed. Wait, so you helped Iroha knowing that you would die? What do you mean, Yuki? If we didn't figure out the culprit and failed the class trial, everyone except Iroha would die, right? And that included Mikado, who came up with the whole plan. Death has no meaning to me. Iroha being the last survivor of this killing game was just going to be the last step in our grand plan. No! He just knew she would fail. He knew they would figure it out. It's BS. What do you mean by that? Why do I have to tell you that? Anyway, now that Iroha's gone and messed up everything, my plans need severe revisions. This is quite upsetting. Let us end this class trial quick and get things over with. No, wait. Don't do this to me, Mikado. I did my best, you know. I'm different from Nikkei. I stayed loyal till the end. You know, how do we show which one did the poisoning, though? All because I believed in your words. I did my best, and you're saying it's all over? I'm gonna die at this rate. Please help. Your loyalness to me, the only reason you didn't betray me was because I threatened you with the school rules. If you hadn't just told everyone about what we did, we would have turned the tables to win this class trial. You got nobody to blame but your own incompetence to not be able to keep your cool. No, this can't be happening. I did everything to survive. I even dirtied my hands for this. I can't even go back to my normal life anymore. How could you do this to me? Iroha? Sorry, please save me. I'm sorry for hiding the fact I was a void. I'll help you with everything I've got. Just please save me. Even if you somehow pull that off, you would be killed for breaking the school rules. Your demise would be destined from the beginning. No. Looks like she stopped responding. Iroha, even if you do beg for us to help you, it's just too late. Everything is over for you. Now then, Sora, would you please summarize the case for us like you always do? It's a finishing blow to this poor wretched soul here. Why would you suggest such a thing? After such a letdown of a class trial, I have no reason to continue this foolery. Let's get rid of the girl whom nobody wants and finally commence the true endgame of this killing school trip. Nope. It seems like Iroha doesn't even have the strength to struggle anymore. It does feel a bit cruel, but this is the class trial. Let us put an end to this. Huh. Okay, we'll see what happens. Mikato's right, this is extraordinarily lame. Something about those drawings is just like, that's just not bad enough for these closing argument drawings. They really made them really poor quality in the commercial Danganranpa. They just like, they're just butchered. I don't know why the style was like that. Oops. I messed up. Whatever. Fine, I'll put the wrong one in there. Well, I'll get penalized and then I'll cancel. Oh, okay, I can recover it. I can recover it. Good. This one. This one. There we go. No, we haven't done the split thing yet! We haven't done the split thing yet! Okay, whatever. After the 5th class trial, we hurriedly moved to the 5th island right away. Unbeknownst to us, the culprit already planned to murder Teruya with Mikado. This is because the culprit was a Void member. The culprit and Mikado made up for the false rule of no entering the Twin Towers during nighttime, and went straight to prepare their crime. By preparing, they needed to cover up the door to the storage room from the broadcasting rooms with paint. And they needed to draw trick art on the connecting bridge to make it seem like it disappeared from our sights. Mikado tried to fool us, saying that the bridge had a bug. And because of what happened to the Tower of Babel with the virtual world, not one of us even had a hint of doubt. After these preparations were done, Teruya was kidnapped and was poisoned to death by the culprit at some point. His corpse was kept inside the east storage room. But since we didn't even know the existence of the room, we weren't even able to find a single sign of him. And on that fateful day, the culprit prepared a little premonition video for us. They first moved to the east broadcast room to create a stab wound on Teruya's corpse. This was a red herring planted in relation to the broadcast they would soon make. Then they erased the paint hiding the door to the storage room and moved to the west broadcasting room. Once they arrived at the west broadcasting room, the culprit first carried out their plan to create a locked room mystery. The locked room mystery required locking the door automatically using the projector film. The culprit picked up a creepy film that was to be slotted into the projector and covered it with yellow phosphorus. After they hung the film to the sprinklers and stuck it into the door lock with tape. With this, they turned the projector on, and the culprit was able to lock the door without them being inside the room, as the film will pull the door's lock. The culprit then started drawing Teruya on the wall. They tried to imitate Teruya's appearance lying dead in the east storage room. Because the culprit had greater talent at painting, they were able to draw a trick art of Teruya, messing with our depth perception. After all preparations were done, the culprit used the computers to broadcast the footage to the whole city. And they filmed themselves holding a knife, approaching Teruya. Well, in actuality, it was just a painting of Teruya, but there was no way to know that from just the footage. But that was all there was to it. The culprit then broke one of the windows. It made us think the culprit may have broke the window to escape, but because the building was so high up, the chances of that were very low. The real reason the culprit broke the window was because they needed glass shards. They crushed the glass shards to create glass powder, and they spread it on a piece of paper. And the culprit put the piece of paper, the glass powder on it, into the sprinklers. They arranged so that the side of the paper with glass powder on it faces the side of the film with yellow phosphorus on it. This was to make it so once the door was forced open, the film would roll back in, causing fire by friction between the two materials, activating the sprinklers. Once the trick was finished, they had to do was turn on the projector, and immediately leave the room. Okay, that explains that finally. And just like the culprit intended, the door was locked by the tape, and the film had stopped rolling. After this point, we each all seen the broadcast and headed for the West Broadcasting Room. The culprit didn't have much time to spare. To create an alibi, the culprit used the bridge to move over to the east building. They went down the elevator and out the east area and met Yuruko, thus creating their alibi. Originally, we thought that the culprit who had been inside the West Broadcasting Room suddenly appeared in the east area was impossible. This was because we thought that the connecting bridge was out of use. But that was exactly the culprit's plan. The culprit finally regrouped with everyone and helped break down the door to the West Broadcasting Room. Once the door was destroyed, the film started rolling again, causing a video on the painted wall. At the same time, a fire was caused beneath the sprinklers from the friction between the yellow phosphorus and glass powder. So before we got the chance to address the situation, the sprinklers activated and we had to leave the room. Because the strong water sprays from the sprinklers, all the paint on the wall was washed off. So the body had disappeared, and in its place, the storage room door appeared. We didn't come up with the painting theory. We would have never solved this trick. Yeah, the paint would have trickled down on the floor, but because the culprit anticipated this and placed a prop cloth near the wall, the cloth soaked up all the paint, leaving barely any trace. The cloth was already pretty stained and dirty, so we never realized that it was just recently soaked up paint. Now I have to argue, how does this not interfere with drawing the trick art, putting a cloth there? You would think that they would have to paint on the floor a bit, right? But whatever. As soon as we noticed Teruya had disappeared, we searched frantically for him and eventually found his body in the east storage room. With this, the culprit had pulled off a locked room mystery and managed to fool us into thinking the body had somehow teleported from west to east. The culprit sure had talent, but the plan was all concocted by the true mastermind Mikado. The culprit had simply done what they were told to. Even so, they killed Teruya with their own hands, and nothing can change that. I don't know, he drank his own cyanide, so, who killed him? If it's the hand that matters, he brought the hand to his mouth with whatever had the poison in it, you know what I mean? The culprit, the last remaining void, the one who cruelly murdered Teruya. And there's no way to prove that who poisoned him, right? That's the funny thing, it's like, anybody could have done the poisoning. Yiroha Nichue, the super high school level painter. It's you. Nailed it. No, I don't want to die. I don't want to be killed. Please save me. Mom, Dad, anyone. I'm sorry, please. Now, should I put an end to this? I know it's already kind of late to ask something like this when you've already killed 3 of your comrades. But are you really going to abandon Iroha, Mikado? If she's gone, you're the only void remaining. What difference does it make? We've already got enough chapters. We've got enough people remaining. It's fine. It's all destined to work out this way. Yes, they're all just stepping stones, just here to fill up the numbers. After all, no one could even hope to understand my desire to see him once again. Isn't that right, Yuki? Shut up, don't you look at me that way. I'm already getting excited. What beautiful flower will we bloom into when the end is nigh? Now then, Monocro, it's time for your announcement. To the end of this class trial. And I'll demonstrate my... Give me a D. I mean, look how many hundreds I got. Are you going to take that into account at all? No. At least it's not a D. Only 2 more skill points. A bunch of coins I can't use. More coins I don't have any way of using. Because the free time events are already over, it doesn't matter. It's a Chapter 5 trial. I don't know why they give you money for that. Maybe in some post-game thing or something. Now, it has all been agreed upon. It's time to commence the voting system. All remaining participants plays, however you would pronounce that, vote, for the culprit with the switch in front of you. Abstention is not permitted, so make sure to participate in the voting time. I did not commit to the robot voice very well. All the votes have now been confirmed. I will disclose the results. Get executed, everyone! Let's see what happens! What? Huh? Nero Hadijue, a super high school level artist who has been voted by the majority as the Blackened, is not the culprit of this case. What did you just say? The Blackened has cleared the trial. As such, the killing school trip will now come to an end, as written in the school rules. Hold on, what's going on here? Iroha, you need to explain yourself right now. I don't know, I thought I was the culprit, wasn't I? No, I'm sure I was the one who killed Teruya. Could you repeat what you just said, Monocro? What do you mean the culprit isn't Iroha? Then who could it possibly be? It's just Mikado. The Blackened in this case is a super high school level wizard, Mikado Sanoji. What? What did you say? Hey. Exactly, because it's like, who put the poison in? I could have been anybody. Look at this room full of jokers. To be a Cecily fool, just how stupid can you be? Tell me, you're just trying to make me laugh, aren't you? You're just all in it for the joke, right? I mean, you can't seriously be this brain dead. Mikado? Fool, what do you mean? Mikado, what's going on? I poisoned the food because you told me to. I did nothing wrong. How come you're the culprit in this case and not me? You did... Well, of course you did nothing wrong. You did everything ever so perfectly, my dear. You have my compliments, Iroha. Because of your efforts, my plan has finally bloomed into something truly wonderful. What are you trying to do? The poison I gave you was fake. Just plain old salt, that is. I already had to put the real cyanide in advance. All you did was sprinkle some salt on already poisoned food. What? It's a lie! You're using your position as the mastermind to fix the results of this class trial, aren't you? You're just making this all up. Our reasoning was perfect. He's right. There's nothing wrong with our reasoning. Iroha herself was saying that she's the culprit. This shouldn't count. The class trial is invalid. No, I am the real culprit who killed Teruya. No, that can't be. It's your fault for not figuring out everything. If Shobai or Kanade were here, the result might have been different. But I guess with Iroha herself thinking that she was the culprit, it would have been a risky trial nevertheless. Wait, so you used me? No, he didn't. He used his magic. That's what he used, cheats to manipulate the class trial results. Why would I ever believe you? Here I even have proof. No way, the real Mikado cannot use magic to commit murder is crossed out. That doesn't matter in the slightest. I can guarantee you that I did not commit any foul acts during this case. I can't even ask Monochrome to reinstate that rule if you were that petty about it. Your theory was indeed perfect. Well, except for the fact that you guessed the wrong person who poisoned Teruya. So in the end, you lost, fair and square. Isn't it time that you realize there's nothing more to do than that? Mikado didn't use any magic. He didn't use any cheats. All he did was trick Iroha and poison Teruya. No, that doesn't matter right now. Whether he cheated or not, the outcome has already been decided. We lost the class trial, now there's no way of denying that. Well, so we just what? We gotta do the split thing, don't we? My mind went blank. I tried to think of a plan, think of anything, but nothing comes to mind. And in the midst of the void of nothingness, fear in the sphere starts to swirl up. We're so close to finding the real truth, and yet everything is now over. I feel like I was swimming up from the deep abyss, drowning just before arriving on the surface. Well, you have the heavenly fortune, so it's gonna come in for you at some point. This must be a cruel joke. I can't believe this. The culprit should have been Iroha. Then why? Whether you believe it or not, that is really do not care for right now. The outcome has already been decided. Let's be honest here, as you've seen from this trial, even I cannot control Monochrome. He's completely neutral in all of this, and for him to proclaim this outcome means that you cannot run away from this. Run away from what? Now then, with the class trial finished, we will now begin the finale. As stated in the school rules, everyone except for the Blackened who won the class trial will be executed, and the Blackened will be able to escape the island. Executed? Really don't tell me you didn't expect that coming. You've executed so many people from these trials, so I assume you know the drill by now. The only difference is that the Blackened won this time. Mikado, what's gonna happen to me then? If I'm not the Blackened and you're the real culprit, that means I'm an accomplice, right? Does that mean I get to live? Have you learned literally anything in your life? It has been said countless times that accomplices gain nothing from murders. I'll repeat again for the final time. You're gonna die, Iroha. Well, I did everything you told me to. I did my job. You said you would kill me. You said you would let me live. Oh, well, what if you just once in your life speak something meaningful? Even if you were the Blackened, you would still be killed. You were voted by these idiots, remember? If you had actually murdered someone with more perfection, maybe you'd actually have a chance of living this game. The execution of the spotless who have lost the class trial will now begin. Wait, no, please, wait. Mikado, do you even realize what you've done? You can't kill Yuki, can you? If he dies, the Master Utsuro won't be resurrected anymore. So, some of yourself has returned to you. But this should be how it ends. This is how the correct ending that I've planned for the killing... This is the correct ending that I've planned for the killing school trip. What? Now then, I have prepared a... Oh, it should be robot voice. No then, I have prepared a special punishment for Sora, the super high school level. Yuki Maeda, the super high school level lucky student. She's the maid! The super high school level maid, Monochrome! Yoruko Kabuya, the super high school level hostess, and Ijiroha Nijue, the super high school level artist, respectively. No, I don't want to die, I want to live. You get to die last. A nightmare, yeah? This must be a bad dream. Finally, my lifelong dream has finally come true. To win a Danganranpa trial! I've abandoned everything for this, and now I will be reborn. Oh, he thinks he's gonna be Utsuro. Well, he kinda has a similar face, doesn't he? Mikado? Mikado Sanoji. Commence the execution. And ready for her to pull a Makoto Naegi here. I know what's gonna happen. Her heavenly fortune's just gonna come down. It's gonna pull a Naegi. But I have to wait for it to happen. And Yuki's just a regular guy, so of course he's not... I can't read it. Oh. Oh, you can live, you can survive this. You can do full at Takeshi. Get Jonah'd. Hello? Really? I'd say it's a lot later than I expected. Right, good to hear that. Keep things steady till I arrive. Oh, and, never mind, it's nothing. See you later. So this day has finally arrived. Uh-oh. Let's get ready, then. To finish what happened back then. It's gonna turn upside down. The crazy. It's gonna. Oh, I like this. Kinjo with the void eye? They couldn't animate that in English.
Danganranpa.
Well, at least I was right. At least I guessed the right blackened at the beginning. Sure. I gotta dig into what happens next, though. We're gonna get chapter 0. Mrs. Kurokawa. Mrs. Kurokawa. Oh dear. So is that her mom? Doesn't look like Mikako. I solved it. I finally solved it. That bug I was talking about. And here it is, the 7th method in returning the value void. The 7th method is returning the value void. She has, like, dark circles under her eyes. Oh, what's wrong, Miss Kurokawa? I told you not to refer to me as that name, Mikado Sanoji. Ah, you certainly did. I'm sorry. Have you forgotten my last name is Mitsume? If it's that confusing, just call me by my first name. But isn't Kurokawa still right officially? You said before that your husband and daughter were missing. So technically you haven't gotten divorced yet. Okay, so... Okay, so... Kurokawa is Kokuro's maiden name. Okay, so she's Miss Kurokawa, okay? Have you come here to talk about such trivial things? Kokuro Kurokawa. No, never, I just... Oh right, the bug. I fixed it. You were right. And the code? It's in the USB. Do you want to test it right now? Give it a test. It's not bad, expectedly. I know, right? Now we're finally at the starting line. Kokoro, I've brought this month's pay in this bag right here. Sorry that I always have to pay it in cash every time. What's wrong? Is there something troubling you? No, but this, as always, isn't clean money. I know security has been the worst ever since the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, but aren't you doing this too often? You know, hacking? If you're concerned about money laundering, I've done it quite thoroughly every time. I'm not berating you. Sorry if you got offended. Crime is everywhere these days, and I'm actually quite used to it anyways. It's just that you might get caught if you go too far. Just be on the lookout. You're one of the most important sources of research money. There aren't many people out there who are out to invest in people like me. I'm afraid I can't, Kokoro. I haven't got much time left. Do you mean, are you referring to that person you talked about last time? Master Utsuro. I need to meet him as soon as possible for my sake. Even if it's just an alter ego created inside a programmed world. Mikano-san Oji, the emotion you're feeling right now, is it aspiration? Respect? No. It's awe. Thomas, I don't give a damn about this luck or anything. Ultimate luck or anything. If I could meet him for just a moment, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Amazing. It's a strong emotion, without any doubts. Can I record your data for a sec? Later, please. It's a bit disturbing, to be honest. Alright. The reason why you're creating that alter ego, your relationship with that person, that has no relevance with me. To digitize human emotion and analyze it, to digitally create human emotion itself. That objective of mine is finally made true by your request. And our objectives merely happen to overlap, that's all. That's expected of our Miss Kokoro. You make things so much easier. That's why I'm requesting specifically you. Then the framework has been completed, and we should start a deep learning process with our sample data. I'll take it from here, since I created the base algorithm. You sure? You're the one who requested it, and I'm the one getting paid for it. Loading the equipment necessary is enough reason to pay the money anyways. If that's what you want, then alright. Would you like a cup of coffee? Then please make it black. The sample data is on the desktop, so go ahead and input it. I'll be right back. This marks another step forward. Master Utsuro, please wait for me. I will resurrect you, I promise. Let's see. Gosh, Kokoro, wish you'd keep things more arranged. Let's see. Is this folder what? What's with this folder? It's not my programming code, it's a different type of data. I haven't deleted this folder yet. Whoa. Why are you so surprised? Not like you've seen something you weren't supposed to. Kokoro. This isn't something worth talking about, but it isn't anything worth hiding for either. It's of the past anyways. I'm always thankful for your support, so I guess I can tell you this much. What are these data files? Haven't you already wondered about my family? About those who were my family. No, well, of course not. You're lying. I assured you know more about the emotion curiosity than anyone else in the world. You and your mind reading again. This is, well, a file containing my daughter's brain map and digitized electrical signals from each response she gets. I'm sorry? It was my lifelong dream to study primitive emotions. Primitive emotions? Mikano-san Oji, what do you think the most primitive emotion is? The base emotion of all emotions that as humans feel? Yeah, the very first emotion that a human feels as a living creature when it first becomes a living creature, the very essence of emotion. Emotion is an unknown field. No one ever could logically explain what emotion is. But what if we could digitize the most primitive emotion? Maybe we could further inspect about the very identity of us humans. Yeah, no one realized being a baby. I assume what you mean is like, man, it's cold. Because you're like in that nice warm body heat, you know, inside the womb, right? And then you're like, wow, I've been like this cold. Usually the United States is a hospital where it's like 60, like 72 or something, right? And it's like, ooh, it's cold. And then you have like, usually it's a doctor's hands, it could be a midwife or a doctor's hands holding you as you come out, and it's like, oh, these hands are rough, right? And you gasp for breath. First time, and it's like, you're not used to like the wind going through your windpipe. Because it's like never had that friction before, right? And so it's like you get this like sore throat immediately. Anyway. I don't know what, I guess your emotion would be like, I don't know what your emotion would be in that case, but it's like, because it sucks, but I don't know what emotion sucks is. Maybe we could further inspect about the very identity of us humans. Isn't it fascinating? If that's so, I'm not sure. And what does that have to do with your daughter? Our emotions get largely affected by our surroundings as we grow up. As such, to research about the most primitive emotion in its purest form, I must conduct an experiment from the very moment a human being is born. Kokoro, you didn't. Yes, I had her specifically for that project. I had her specifically for that project. It was more convenient than getting another person's child. Much higher security as well. I had her born in the lab, and I started my experiment right away. Right after you... Oh, and what if you got, like, an injury? These files are all back then. All from back then. Did your husband agree to this? He did, for the record. I didn't think that the genes would have much of an effect, and, though I searched for a sperm donor, but one of the researchers I knew had a crush on me for the longest time, made things a lot easier. Well, this is the boring part, so let's skip this. So that means your husband and daughter who went missing. Well, my husband couldn't stand it in the end, so he took off with my daughter. I lost contact, so I don't know what happened afterwards. Weird, he definitely agreed to the experiment, you know. It was at that point that I recognized that motherhood, no fatherhood, is much stronger emotion than I thought. Wait, but these files, they have been regularly updated up until a few years ago. That's because she ran away with the scanning chip still in her brain. The chip is run by a semi-eternal battery, so as long as she was alive, the data could be sent to this PC. And why'd you keep these? The file size is enormous. Oh well, you're planning to use these for research? No, that's not it. I just forgot. There's a lot of data to handle. As soon as she made contact with the outer world, that primitive emotion must have disappeared. So this is all worthless data. To be honest, I didn't know they even existed before you opened them. Could you please delete them? Alright. What, are you concerned about something? No, I have no right to complain about ethics when my hands are this dirty from all the crimes that I've done. But still, she's your family. You told me that you were an orphan, right? I guess this story sounded a bit irresponsible for someone like you. Sorry, I was being careless. Not at all. I'm not something you should apologize for. I'm fine. Interesting. What is it? I checked some of the data just in case, but my daughter lived quite a life, didn't she? She seems to have gotten into Hope's Peak Academy. Come again? And there is a name I recognize reoccurring many times throughout my daughter's memories. Utsuro. Isn't that the person you were looking for? No! What? I'll pause the thing. Okay, I'm back. Okay, we don't know for absolute certainty that Kokoro Mitsume's daughter is Mikako Kurokawa. We don't know for absolute certainty. But because she didn't really interact with Utsuro so much, right? She knew the name Utsuro, but it didn't like come up like over and over again in her life. So maybe that's not exactly that. But my first thought was, oh no, they have this digital record of like the personality, like all of the data of her brain in this computer. They're going to recreate a digital copy of Kurokawa, kind of like Chiaki. An alter ego of Kurokawa. And then, oh dear. What's the matter all of a sudden? You surprised me. Oh, I'm sorry. Kokoro, you're not joking about this, right? It was only a personal act of trying to meet with him that I contacted with you, and yet your daughter ran away and luckily got into Hope's Peak and somehow meet with him. When I haven't even seen a single sign of him. Can this be fate? Fate, luck, I don't believe in unscientific things. But this is new information for me as well. No, if you think about it, it's quite simple. This is the power of divine luck. Yes, it's his power. He is calling me. Him and I are pulled together once again. That could be the only explanation. Master Utsuro! Ah, Master Utsuro! Kokoro, I'm creeping you out. The event that I met with you, that was also my Master Utsuro's will. I want this data to be scanned. All of it. This could prove to be even more important than the AI we're creating. To be honest, I'm a bit tired. But if it's money, then I'll give you much more, please. Give me a few more as a tip. I guess I'm skipping sleep tonight. She already had bags under her eyes. Yes. The world is falling apart. What is that? Playing edgelord? No, I mean literally. Don't we all know everything's over now? If this is happening, the killing school filter must have come to an end. Though there's no way for us to find out how it all ended. But I think it's unusual, even for Mikado, to put a sudden end to everything. Did something go wrong with the plan? Serves him right. Rotten hell, Mikado-san Oji. It's just my speculation, yeah. What we know for sure is, whether Mikado's plan succeeded or not, our time here is up. If Mr. Utsuro really came back to life, if we can get our fortune back, and even the smallest chance of coming back to life opens up. No, there is no such chance. Fortune is just that, mere luck. It is impossible to bring people back from the dead. And even if it were possible, Mikado-san Oji would never let it happen. No, I don't want to die. I want to live some more. I want to stay here with you guys. Emma, snap out of it. We're already dead. I was talking like this is only a fantasy. I don't want to die the second death. Die down various levels of death. I know that. I'm prepared to face the end if it would be childish to deny that. But I just couldn't help it. Our lives throughout the past years have been a living hell. And when we finally escape those gutters and live a normal life, we're dragged right back down and have to accept it. It's the end. No, I hate it. Why me? Why do I have to go through all this suffering? Stop it. Crying out like that won't change what it's already done. Besides, we all did something terrible. It brings new meaning to shit life syndrome. Hey, Nikkei, is there anything you want to say? It might be your last chance. Or are you keeping quiet because you don't have a mouth? I'm just waiting for all this to be over. I'm glad that this hell of life is ending. There's no point in living life without power. Yeah, just let me return to dust. Are you sure about that? Well, what about you then? Your health. You wanted to regain your health. You came this far just for that one goal. Why are you so concerned about other people? You must be the most desperate of us. That might be true. So, in the future, Hajime just kind of lost his health? That's interesting. But still, there's something that came to my mind when I realized this will be the end. This is what I was fated to be. What? We were all granted power by fortune by Mr. Utsuro, and with that power altered each of our fates. We weren't dragged down to hell, we were there from the very beginning. Fortune might have allowed us a temporary escape, but this is the place we were supposed to be. You. So we can't change fate? Temporarily you can. I don't know, unless you're Makoto Naegi. I don't know, there might be some way if Mr. Utsuro were still alive. But wouldn't it be better to think that we came back where we belonged and we lost everything? At least in our last moments. Forget it, you're lame. I'd rather not spend my last moment dealing with the likes of you. I'm gonna lay down here and silently fall into sleep. If that's what you want. I'm sorry. Emma? Tell me one final joke. Anything's fine. Oh, but I thought you hated them. Just pick one already. It's almost time. Alright. What do you call a deer with extremely good eyesight? I can't think of it. Master Utsuro, I was happy to meet you. But at the same time, I was unhappy. That's the reason I resent our meeting. So thank you. Because you were. What should I say? First, empty. So empty is like Sora. Or Tsuru, right? If I were to explain the empty who is monologuing right now. My name is Empty, though I doubt anyone really cared. Empty. As you can see, I am not empty, or have an empty as well as empty. I'm just one empty of the ordinary empty student, empty at any morning. Empty, sat on a wall, empty, had a great fall. Only emptiness, empty. That which means kind of empty, or sky, one or the other. I don't know if Japanese. Ra. Ora. Sora, get up. Sora, are you okay? Huh? Sora, it's me. Are you okay? Do you know where we are? This place. You died. Do you exit the simulation? I'm trying to think of who this is. I mean, it's not... Kurokawa didn't have blue eyes. Did she? Thank God, I'm so glad you're okay, Sora. When I found you on the floor, I thought you were dead. I thought I was dead. Who are you? Excuse me? This is the first time we've met, right? Wait, is it something about you is familiar? Oh, she's Yoruko! Okay, wow, I'm dead. Okay, it took me a while to... Okay, yeah, this is Yoruko. Sora, it's me, Yoruko Kabuya. Yoruko, is that really you? Yes, of course it is. You look like a completely different person. No, not really. I don't understand it either. I look like I did back when I was in high school. In high school? Yoruko, I can't remember. My theory is correct. I don't know why my memory and my appearance is back, but this is how I look now. What, you still don't believe me? My memories might be back, but I still remember everything that happened. I believe you. I was just a little surprised. Oh, you look very mature, though. That's because I'm an adult. I don't know how old you are, but I'm older probably. So should I call you Miss Kabuya? Kabuya-san? Or are you already married? What? Shut up, I'm not that old. Kabuya-san. I'm just asking you to treat me how you usually do. It's just a joke, Yoruko. By the way, do you know what happened? I want to know our situation. No, we obviously didn't know what to do until our minds went blank. What? We were alive? I think so. What happened to the execution? Why are we on this beach and where are the others? Yuruko, I have a question. We're still in the virtual world, right? Well, I don't know, but that zeros and ones are normally flying around in the real world. And the sky is purple, if you noticed. Did you say that your memories are back? Yeah, I don't know why. So how'd you get kidnapped and forced into the killing game? I'll tell you, just wait a second, my mind is still a little fuzzy. I'm sure I was working as usual, then someone... Sorry, I can't remember the details, but I know for sure I was surprise attacked. If you don't want to remember, you don't have to. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. In any case, we know what's going on now, so I think we need to check. Huh? The student handbook is completely broken. There's no weird statics in the rules section. Sorry, look at this. This is... Reset code is unlocked. Did you bring my memories back? Did this bring my memories back? Let me check mine. Oh, mine's like that too. Really? So have you remembered anything? They should come back. My real memories, you remember before, right? Oh yeah, Kane Taira, was it? Have you got any other memories apart from hers? I should have, but I don't feel any difference from how I did in the last trial. Well, the change in my appearance must have something to do with the reset code. So everyone was like, okay, but you haven't changed at all, so maybe it didn't work for you. I don't know. Reset code is not absolute. The reset code just initializes the tampered state of data. Tampered state? What's that? Wait, what? Monocro? A pleasure to see you again. What do you want this time? No, wait a second, I am no longer your enemy. What bullshit are you trying to pull? You look like Mikado. You work for Mikado. Yuruko, wait a minute. Monocro, I want to talk to you. Sora? The day I arrived on the 5th island. When that happened, you tried to tell us something, right? Yes? Why didn't you say anything, and what did you do after that? Then your condition was weird. And there's gotta be a reason that you're here, right? Still as seasoned as ever, Miss Sora. I'll admit you were half right. Half right? Once my data was initialized, it doesn't make sense for me to be here anymore. So in theory, my personality should be dead, but I have somehow come back to life. Now that I have made a few moments of freedom, I came here to you. What are you talking about? Don't you understand? I'm here to help you guys. To help us? It seems both of your reset codes have been activated, right? CEO Yuruko's avatar has been released. But nonetheless, your lack of information. To beat that monster Mikado, you need information. Am I wrong? Wait a minute, you're acting weird. You've been on Mikado's side all this time, so why are you helping us now? Well, I'm not sure either. I think the default value of my algorithm is to help humans. Algorithm? All programs act using algorithms, and the principle of those are determined by a default value. Well, I'm not exactly been trustworthy so far, so you have to make a choice if to trust me or not. I won't force you. As Yuruko said, I have been working for Mikado, so why would you trust me? However, I am no longer under the jurisdiction of Mikado, so now my action is to help you. I hope you believe that much. What should we do, Sora? Monocro, what do you know about Mikado's plan? Or, what do you know about Mikado's plan? Where are the others and what's going on? Well, not all of them are here, but I could show you where they are. Yuruko, let's take his help. Are you serious? It's hard to understand the situation with just us two alone. Besides, we don't know where the others are. And we could always use some eyes in the sky. We have the perfect bird for that job. Please don't address me as just a bird. Right, I'm suspicious of Monocro, but he has been acting weird for the past few days. However, if you betray us, you will die. Don't worry, my algorithm isn't programmed to lie. So it's safe to assume you have decided there's nothing else on this beach. We should move. Move to where? To the singularity. Please talk to me when you're ready. I want to start right away. What a sudden reunion. Monocro is certainly back to his usual self. I'm still not sure if he's our ally or our enemy. But I'm sure Monocro somehow something that should be useful to us. What happened to us? What knows what the future may hold? It's time to uncover the truth. So what's Sora's appearance? Is it just like it used to be, or does she look like Kane now? The moon of hope and the sun of despair. Well, that's reminiscent to the whole split thing. Are you ready? No. There's nothing we can interact with, isn't there? Is there? Besides Yoruko. Yuko, are you really an adult? Well, what are you saying? No matter how much I look, I still miss the pink-haired Yoruko I know. Well, this is the real me. When I was a hostess, I was just imitating the appearance of someone who knew what they were doing. Aside from that, since it's a bar to entertain people, I try to be as colorful as possible. You always wear glasses? Yes, ever since I was young, my eyesight was bad. Back when I was a hostess, I used to wear contacts. Sorry if you don't like it. Contacts are uncomfortable. Hey, you look cool with glasses with contact lenses, don't worry. You think so? Thanks. Yes, I'm ready for whatever this is. Right, well let's move right away. Wait a minute, Monocro. Just where is the singularity? Wait, before that, do you even need to go to it? Mikado's plan and the reason why we got trapped in this killing game. If you already know, just tell us here. She's right, don't be suspicious. If you have any information for us, tell us right away. Oh, I thought you already knew about Mikado's plan. Huh? Nikkei said everything a few days ago, remember? Besides, the reset codes were solved, so I think you have already come to your conclusions. Yuki, Utsuro, he's trying to meet them. Is that what you're talking about? Well, his goal is to put Utsuro's personality over Yuki's, therefore aiming the resurrection of divine luck. Isn't that what you already concluded in Higa City? That's... Wait a minute, only me, Sora, and Yuki were there. How do you know about that? Well, that's because I am the overseer of this world. Currently, this virtual world is erroneous due to external intervention. You can tell what happened from the strange environment that surrounds you, right? When that happened, our security was destroyed, and without my admin privileges, I know little information of what happened since. So just tell us what information you do know. Well, what a temper from Miss Kabuya here. Always so impatient. I have judged that seeing it for yourself would be faster than my explanation. It's only a waste of time talking here. I see. I know for a fact it is not for me or Mikado causing this intervention. It would be impossible to move such a place for us. Follow me, the coordinates of the map are all lined up, so it should be just ahead. Man, she looks so good. Okay, sigh. I don't think he listened to a single word I said. It can't be helped. We should just do what Monocro says for now. At the end of the day, it's only a matter of time before Mikado realizes something is wrong and comes to execute us again. That's a wise judgment. Now follow me. Due to the unnatural linking of these locations, you may feel somewhat dizzy upon movement. Please keep that in mind and have a safe travel. Well, that was an unnatural linking, yes. We have half toilets. We have arrived. This is the first singularity. My head is spinning. What is this? What's going on? As I said, the world is full of errors. It seems the objects are misplaced. It's not just that. When I woke up, we was on a sandy beach, and now we're somehow inside a building. Wait, this is the first island? Correct, the bell tower. This is where the first murder took place. In the virtual world, murders are of great significance. From this error, I should be able to do various manipulations here. This way. You go first. The random half toilets, huh? What is this machine? Wait, there's somebody inside. He seems familiar somehow. Yuri, this person is Yuri Kagurine, right? A suspicious capsule-type machine reminiscent of a tube. Lay in the sleeping body of Yuri, who was an adult like we saw in that video. You're all aware that the one who died in this tower was Yuri, right? Wait, why is Yuri? No, more importantly, what is this machine? This machine is a device that connects the real and virtual worlds. In other words, this is the connector to the virtual world program where we currently reside. In the real world, just like Yuki, you two are in a capsule like him, asleep. So Yuri also returned to his real body. Wait a minute. Yuri fell from the top of the tower, but there's no cuts and no wounds. Wait, is Yuri alive? No, Yuri is very much dead. What's in this device is just an empty body. because the virtual world connects directly to the brain, so a death in here is a death in the real world. There are no exceptions. So everyone who's died is died. Whoever is died is still dead. After we saw the real nature of Nikkei, it's just as we thought, he was lying. But hearing Monocro say it like that, they're all gone. So why is Yuri still here, and why is that capsule here with him? I already told you. Told us? This place is entirely virtual. Your body's exactly the same. It's just like a game avatar, so to speak. Okay, so his avatar just turned into his real body. With this administrator rights, you can change the look of an avatar. So in other words, someone arbitrarily manipulated the body of the dead Yuri. What does that mean? It wasn't a person who intervened, it was due to the reset codes. When the reset code is activated, your avatar returns to the state of your original body. If you don't believe me, let me show you. What? I'm back to looking like... Oh, I'm back to normal. Originally, just such a power would be impossible, but in the state, it is possible to manipulate it. Oh, we're just talking nonsense. Let's get back to the important part about Yuri's reality. To be precise, somebody called the connection device in reality. That was the reason. The connection device? Is there something like that in the capsule machine? As far as I'm aware, this device will show information. Here we are. This is his profile. That's all we know about Yuri Kagarin. Please have a read. Name: Yuri Kagarin, Japanese and Russian raced, mid-20s. From a young age, he inherited the Kagarin Corporation. He hated men very much, but was able to see the varied abilities of humans. And because of his outstanding businessman, and developed the Kagarin Corporation to new heights. Using independently developed AI called Yuri for space explorations, he successfully contributed greatly to the space industry, and became one of the symbols of the next generation hope. Influenced by a girl from his past, he was determined to devote himself to helping women's welfare. Looks like a lot of great achievements, but still nothing special, still the same old Yuri. Not only Yuri's body was big, he himself was. So does that mean this has to do with our situation? Miss Sora, do you not remember? Yeah, what? Well, I am aware you have recovered your memories as Akane Taira. Am I wrong? Yuri Kagarin met Akane Taira as a child. Wait, so Sora? Yuri, who originally rejected men and worshipped women, the reason he became so obsessed with women was because Yuri hired Akane Taira as a worker for him. Then does that mean, Sora, do you remember meeting with him as Akane Taira? I'm not too sure, I can't remember for certain. Well, I don't really remember everyone I met whilst I was a maid. Right, well, whether Miss Sora remembers Yuri or not doesn't really matter. What's important is Yuri had knowledge of Akane Taira. Why is that important? Why does that matter? Because that is the reason they was caught in the killing game. All of you, Utsuru, the very purpose of Mikado. He brought you all here because you were all related to his classmates during Utsuro's time at Hope Speak Academy. Okay, so he was Akane's master. One of Akane's masters, that's why he's related. Kokoro is related to Mikako because she's her mom. So Yuki is related to Yuki because he is actually the real Yuki Maeda. The person that Utsuro was impersonating. Yoruko... We don't know yet. We don't know how she was related to Utsuro. Okay. So, Iroha... Well, we'll get through these, I guess. Little by little, we'll hear each of these people's individual little stories. What, including me? Minako Tomori. Does that name seem familiar to you? Well, we had Kizuna Tomori, was the cheerleader. Minako? Wait, how do you know her? Minako Tomori's only daughter, Kizuna Tomori, is the Super High School level cheerleader of the 79th class of Help Speak. She was one of Utsuro's classmates. Huh, no way. What? Minako is a married woman? Is it really a surprise? But she really has a husband and a daughter? Why did you two have a thing going on? Why? Did you two have a thing going on? No, Minako was the madam at the bar I used to work at in high school. Even though I was a minor, and she looked after me so I could work with her. To think she was a married woman. But this isn't about her, this is about Minako's daughter who went to Hope's Peak, right? Yes, and more precise, Hope's Peak Academy 79th class. Allow me to say this one more time. The reason you became a target of Mikado was because you were more or less related to the 79th class students. Kind of altered Spare Girls-ish, right? In the case of Miss Sora, Akane Taira was part of the 79th class herself, so that is self-explanatory. Wait a minute, Madame's daughter and Sora were classmates? Minako's age at that time, and then her daughter was in high school. That means... Grandma Kabuya? Wait, no. I wasn't trying to calculate your age. Well, age doesn't matter, so just please stop calling me that. Is that a touching moment over? Can I continue? As you accept the members of Void, they're related to the 79th class in some way. No, technically, the Void sought help from the 79th class member Utsuro. Since they're technically related, it means all of you are related to the 79th class. Kind of think of it, Teruya was part of the 79th class of Hope's Peak as well. Then, was Teruya also a classmate of Utsuro? Correct. In Mikado's plan, everyone was supposed to have a slight relation to 79th class. But there was one problem, some people who were in the 79th class themselves. That includes Akane Taira, that's you, Sora. And that's the reason we're in this terrible situation? Because we had a connection to the 79th class? So, why did Void Mikado collect everyone connected to 79th class? In order for Yuki to become Utsuro, he needed to create a similar environment to the previous game. Mikado called it reproduction. A reproduction, that is a very Uchikoshi thing to do. A reproduction. Very Uchikoshi. Had no choice. It was to create a conflict of men versus women for the exact reproduction. There's a conflict between men versus women? Oh, it had to do with, like, Higa? Killing Yuri was the only way to do that. Him dying was a fact alone would be enough. As expected. Or has to do with the whole women's bathroom thing? It was the murder occurred in the women's bathroom? Okay, so it had to be, like, related to, like, narrowing whether the culprit was a man or a woman trick. Based on, okay. As expected, it stirred up theories of a woman being the culprit. Sorry, Mikado, I messed up the reenactment. It shouldn't be a surprise considering the flawlessness of your reenactment in this case. Quite unlike a certain incapable person. The reproduction of the case, it's the order of the killing game we've been through. So far, the Voids previously mentioned it after the trials. Miss Taira, part of the 79th class, Miss Sora, if you really are her, you should remember how this killing game is similar to the killing game of the 79th class. That's right, Teruya said that the 79th class went through a killing game as well. About Utsuro, you must have heard about him from Sora on the last island. Do you remember? Yuki is biologically identical to Utsuro. Identical? But mentally they are different people. So they're twins? So Mikado wanted to replace Yuki's personality with Utsuro's as much as such he chose a virtual world. So he could connect directly to the brain. In conclusion, Utsuro was in the 79th class, and the two killing games are very similar. That's very Uchikoshi. Okay. In the virtual world, Yuki suffered the same turning. This is Mikado's plan. The trials that Nikkei talked about in the reenactment process. I was expecting this to be some extent, but after hearing it myself, it truly was terrible. Now that my memory as Akane Taira has returned, I remember clearly what I did. In the terrible hell of the killing game. My memory is that when I opened my eyes on Tsurushima was ambiguous. It felt like a dark past. But now, I remembered everything clearly. During that time, he and I did something terrible. It's a terrible time that I don't even want to repeat again. And Mikado Sanoji did it all over again. To Yuki, who had done nothing wrong, was dragged into the selfish purpose again. And not just Yuki, everyone was dragged into this because of the 79th class. Wait a moment. After the war and the tragedy, human scientific advancements were rapid, and technology improved day by day. With the technology of the TOA group, I know artificial intelligence and other things of the sort have begun to appear. But no matter how much I think about it, covering a personality with somebody else's is no matter how similar the environment and the conditions are is really possible. No, HopeSpeak did it. It's basically brainwashing. HopeSpeak pulled it off. It is, if it's possible or not, the theory has already been proven by someone before. I forgot the name of who they turned Hajime Hinata into. But yes, they have even managed to implement it in practice before. What? Junko Inoshima, have you ever heard of her? Junko Inoshima? She's the cause of the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Junko Inoshima. She corrupted Utsuro, and as a result, most of the class of 79 died. She is the root of this world's chaos. Well, she died a long time ago, after popping up a few too many times. So you don't need to worry too much about her. In the past, Junko Inoshima modified a virtual world called the Neo World Program. It was used to overwrite someone's personality with her own, aka the plan to turn everyone into herself. Of course, with the work of many others, her plan failed and Junko Inoshima is completely dead. That doesn't make any sense. Then Mikado used that plan to motivate his motivation for his own. Did he actually implement the plan? And what does the symbol of the capsule device mean? This is the connection device of the New World Program. It's a stolen version that was plugged with the thermal plate. He stole it? Where did Mikado get such manpower? Unfortunately, I do not know that. I'm only supposed to direct the killing game, the Mono mascot taking the place of Monokuma. Even Mikado didn't give me the full details. So we were forced into the killing game that Utsuro went through, because the 79th class was already dead. So we were used as alternatives or substitutes, in other words. Yes, Yuri here, Yuruko, as well as everyone else were in the same situation. Huh, what's with the serious face, Sora? No, that can't be it. There's gotta be something more. Yuruko and everyone else were kidnapped by Mikado. What, there's more? Fufu, still as sharp as always, Miss Sora. Correct, in addition to the people related to the 79th class condition, there was some other criterias they had to reach. And they were? You have to be a HopeSpeak Academy student. Huh? This is the essential and irreplaceable condition that Mikado learned during trial and error. In addition to this in the 79th killing game, there has been several others. There was even a killing game that took place with the HopeSpeak Academy officials. I don't know if that's canon or not. I'm not sure why, but Utsuro's personality was covered up. But the Super High School level talent was absolutely necessary. Wait, what are you talking about? I've never been to HopeSpeak Academy. That's correct. You wasn't a student or Yuri at HopeSpeak Academy. Then here is the problem. When you started this killing school trip, why did your memory go back to when you we were in high school? Huh? You all should know this since your memories have returned, but you see HopeSpeak Academy was already closed several years ago. So the Super High School level students that were considered the symbols of hope in this world could no longer be found. That's why Mikado decided to kidnap all the people who were considered the symbol of hope. Read Yuri's profile carefully again. The symbol of hope for the next generation. After the tragedy, major restoration had to begin. Among them, there are people who had great contributions to the restoration work. Those people were the next generation of hope, just the same as the Super High School level students were. They were called the symbols of hope. Mikado focused on that and the talent itself, and as such put everyone's age back to when they were in high school. In other words, you were virtual Super High School level students. Come on, wait a second. The symbol of the next generation of hope, does that include me? I don't have any achievements that could earn me that talent. You're too humble, Miss Kabuya. You certainly deserve the title. You were a counselor, correct? Really? Well, I did some volunteering through the speaking skills I learned as a hostess, and became a psychologist. Of course, I did gain a little recognition, but not to the extent of being called that. It's through the counseling that Yuruko did that she began to stand out after the tragedy. She helped a lot of people who were physically and mentally deranged, damaged by the disaster. And all for the small cost of nothing. Many people suffered from PTSD, and thanks to Yuruko's hard work, they got through their trauma. And that got her the title of being the symbol of the next generation of hope. Yuruko, that's awesome. Well, that being said, I shouldn't have been Super High School level. Shouldn't I be the Super High School level counselor instead? Why was I chose the Super High School level hostess? That's not what I was known for. Your talent and memory were inexplicably linked. If you was selected as Super High School level psychologist, your memories wouldn't sync well since you weren't a psychologist at the time. So doesn't that mean everyone here actually had a talent as well? Correct, Yuri here was no different. He was famous in the space industry. A symbol of hope for the next generation. From some point, everybody began to call me that. A considerable amount of time had passed since Hope Speak shut down, and people still were desperate for some hope. That's how humans are. That includes Kanade, then, apparently. Just how mankind created a religion. They needed something to believe in. Humans are always hungry for hope, and they were afraid of despair. And that's why they create the symbols of hope. When you said that, something came to mind. Monocro, are you human? When the Killing School trip first started, I didn't know anything, and I thought you might be someone who controls you behind the scenes. But as the story of the virtual world came out, and from Mikado's remarks, you seem to be more than someone being controlled when you were talking about your memories returning. If Monocro was created by Mikado specifically for this plan, it would be right to call you artificial intelligence, right? Heh, a swing and a miss. You're only half right this time. Of course I am artificial intelligence, but I am not made by Mikado. What then? Just who are you? My real name is Yuri. Mikado hacked me into another program. Yuri? Wait, that's... Using independently developed AI called Yuri for space explorations. He successfully contributes significantly to the space industry. Monocro, you're Yuri's. Yes, I guess you could say, you could call me the real Yuri, my father. Didn't I say, my purpose is to help humans? Originally, my purpose was to manage various flights. I must have been developed for that. Even though most of my data has been modified, I still have no memory of being called the AI Yuri. Wait, why the hell is AI created by the Kagarin Corporation being modified for use in a killing game? Because lore. Mikado was extremely focused on efficiency. For him, Mr. Kagarin's AI had all the necessary conditions for the plan. I must have been the best prey. So he kidnapped Yuri and stole his artificial intelligence, that's what you're saying? So in summary, in addition to an AI created by this next generation of Hope, would be fitting for his plan. This isn't a very good story. Well, I don't know all of Mikado's actions. All the memories of me being the AI Yuri have been erased. I just went through with the killing game as programmed. But now that I know my identity, I can clearly remember what took place because of the program, which is why I am helping you both. An unimaginable identity. Yuri was deeper in Mikado's plan than we all thought. But of course, Yuri is dead. He was also a victim. The scary thing is how someone executed all these large-scale crimes. But this was all done by the person called Mikado Sanoji. Even after we got our memories back, we still didn't know much about Mikado himself. Monocro, if you look at it, you're also a victim of Mikado. It must be been hard for someone that was programmed for good purposes to be doing horrible stuff for Mikado like that. Well, that's not exactly the case. Huh? This body is simply a programmed algorithm. I'm just an AI, I have no emotions. I laugh, act gloomy, get angry, etc. Not because of how I actually feel, but because I was programmed this way. But artificial intelligence is not human. As an AI, I have no feelings of guilt. The only person who committed a crime is Mikado. However, distinguishing the good and the bad, there is no function for that. I'm helping you now because I realize my original role, because that is what my algorithm says to do. An artificial person that acts on his own emotion and ignores algorithms, well, that would be called an alter ego. You do not need to sympathize with me or worry about me, you only have to use me. Because all I am is a tool to help humans. Artificial intelligence that acts according to an algorithm. Monocro's actions are not based on emotion, they are simply deduced using his systems. But even so, he's just an overglorified curve fit. I'm sorry. No, it's nothing. It would be meaningless for me to talk any longer. My role is soon to end anyway. Was that really it? His behavior is really just an algorithm. What did all of those other times mean? Now, let us move to the second singularity. Time might be infinite, but not for us. You may feel dizzy between moves, so try to mentally prepare yourself before we begin. So this is going to be the, Virtual World Avatar has been added to the Truth Mode section of your Handbook Plus. So we're going to go to, Kokoro's room. You're in Kagarin. 70, Hope Speak 79th class. Neo World Program. Next Generation Symbols of Hope. Monocro. Yuri is sleeping in the capsule without moving. Wait, did we lose the last class trial? Yes. I'm still not convinced. Was Mikado really the culprit? Our reasoning was perfect. Now if you think about what Mikado said before, it all matches up. We knew the culprit of the 4 other trials because we had an easy way of judging who the culprit was. But in the last case, we had no idea who placed the poison. Clearly that was our downfall. But it was a complete defeat. Our usual process of doing things was made useless. However, somehow we lived. It's already over now anyway, so let's focus on the present. You're right, I'm sorry, Sora. Yes. Right, now, let's move right away. Again, prepare yourself for the dizziness. Come this way. Yep, this is a room. Oh, I'm dizzy. Is this one of the private rooms? Welcome to the second singularity, Kokuro's private room. I think we should all remember it. The room where we have no idea how Emma unfolded her body while it was frozen. Kokuro's room? How she trapped her in the freezer. Anyway, this is where the second murder took place. Wait, but how? This is the Mono Cruise. I thought Mikado blew it up. Well, I guess you could say this is backup data. Common sense doesn't apply in a virtual world full of glitches. Don't think too hard about it. Please come this way. We followed Monocro to the corner of the room. Just as it was the first singularity, there was someone inside the capsule machine. A middle-aged woman. This is Kokoro? Yes, this is how Kokoro looked in the real world. Well, to be more accurate, should I call her Kokoro Kurokawa? Kurokawa? That is Kokoro's last name. She is married. Kokoro was married? She was that old? So, like Mia and Yuri, she's considered a next-generation symbol of hope and related to 79th class of Hope Speak? Yes, however, this is not relevant. Miss Mitsume, no, Miss Kurokawa is the mother of the super high school level exorcist Mikado Kurokawa. And she is a member of the 79th class, and she is a member of the 79th class of Hope Speak Academy. Wait, Mikako? Oh, my head. So appropriate. That zzz sound. Of course, that zzz sound. Sora, what's wrong? What a nostalgic name it must be for our dear Sora. Well, Kokoro here is only related to Mikako by blood. They haven't actually met for a long while. There were circumstances that caused this, which was Mikako was disowned by her mother and raised separately. Circumstances? What kind of circumstances? I don't know the details. Mikado only gave me the information I needed to know. I'm sorry, I don't know everything. What's your silence, Miss Sora? No, it's nothing. I'm just a little surprised to hear that name. Well, alright, let's go do the same as last time. Please read the information for yourself. Kokoro Kurokawa. She was a famous psychologist who has published multiple theses in the past. But after some unknown circumstances, she disappeared from the academic world and her location is unknown. In later years of her work, she went beyond psychology into the AI field and even brain science. This was confirmed from her studies. It seems she had a daughter with somebody, but has been lost for a long time. The current status of this child is unknown. Kokoro. As you all know, Miss Mitsume had an excellent brain. She was considered a symbol of hope for the next generation, although she never attended Hope's Peak and she wasn't even a high school student. It wouldn't have been strange if she was accepted into Hope's Peak Academy herself. Wait a minute, is something off here? Ryoruko? Look at her profile, of course it looks like she was famous in the past. How come I haven't heard about her? Huh? This is the first time I've heard of the name Kokoro Kurokawa. So how could she be one of the next generation symbols of hope? Monocro, do you even know what you're saying? As far as I know, the next generation symbols of hope were the hope in the world. So how could her name not be known? Are you sure you aren't getting it wrong? In fact, that profile says nothing about her being a symbol of hope. No, Mikado told me this directly. He needed talented people to replicate the super high school level students. But as Yuruko said, it is a little weird. Are you sure you weren't fooled by Mikado? I mean, sure she was real, but I don't think she wasn't a symbol of hope because she was all sketchy, right? Well, as I said prior, I do not know everything, so maybe there are details I'm not sure of. Let's put this topic on hold. I don't think we get an answer by going in circles like this. You're giving up already? Use the intelligence in artificial intelligence. It's because of my artificial intelligence that I gave up so quickly, Miss Sora. My body is like a computer, so to speak. My thinking speed far exceeds the human brain's. And nothing comes to mind, no matter how much I think about it. It's safe to say I have no idea. Really? Even if you're an ally, you're not much help. Reminds me of Nikkei. It really doesn't matter that much. But the more I think about it, the more strange it becomes. Why is it only Kokuro's information that is like this? We're only at the beginning, and there's already so many problems. Still, Monochrome is the reason we're getting this far. At least we're making some meaningful progress. Sorry, this might be a weird time to ask, but didn't Teruya say all but 3 of the 79th class had died in the killing game? Would that mean that you died? And that Kokuro Mitsume, Kurokawa's daughter is already... Was she your friend? You were classmates after all. Are you okay, Sora? I think so. After my memories came back, I remembered all of my classmates. They were all wonderful. Nevertheless, over the past few years, we've gone through the trauma of life and death. Even now, with my memories back, I still miss my friends who died back in the tragedy. But you're not just Sora. Akane Taira's in there too. And all the 79 class were your classmates. Even though we were all fake friends, it still hurts, Sora. All of our classmates in this island are dead. It's a waste of time. Huh? Rather than this, wouldn't it be better to gather more information soon? The whereabouts of that bastard Mikado and the others. Yeah, the others. Monochrome, do you know where the others are? The others, are you talking about Yuki and Iroha? Mikado may have the higher authority, so I cannot locate them specifically, but the others I can find for sure. Anyway, since the coordinates are meaningless, I'm sure we will come across them soon. Wait a minute, Sora. What's with that reaction? Mikado, I don't know what type of person she was, but she still died in the killing game like Teruya said. Mikako. But she still died in the killing game like Teruya said. I don't deserve to mourn them. As I said, Yoruko, Akane Taira committed many sins that cannot just be washed away that easily. I don't want to talk about it right now. Sora, what exactly did you do? The last time we talked about this, we didn't exactly get much time to talk. Because of the murder and stuff. What the hell did you do that's so unforgivable? Why can't I know? I don't want to talk about it. You just hate me for it. Sora, I told you the other day I want to know what happened no matter what. Remember, I'm always on your side. I want to help you, Sora. Please tell me how you feel. If I can't do that, then we... Hey, you two fighting? This isn't exactly the right time for this. Yoruko, I trust you, but we're still not completely out of the Void's plan yet. That's true. It's very painful for me. If I remember now, I'd just be stuck with the same painful memory and I couldn't move forward. So I'll tell you as soon as we get out of here. Sora. I know that you're angry, but just this once, can we stop this? Besides, we just lost each other recently. I don't want to fight you. I feel the same. I don't want to fight with you either, Sora. Well, you're right. Confessing your sins isn't exactly an easy task. I was being too forward. I'm sorry, Sora. No, you're not. Good, good. Glad you've both made up. Such a touching friendship. You always manage to get along so well. Stop being nosy. You're free from Mikado now, right? And you're still poking your beak into other people's business? Sorry, it's a habit. Monochrome, there's nothing else about Kokoro, right? Yes, to tell you the truth, Kokoro is an unusual case. If you're ready to move on to the next singularity, should we go? Wait, Monochrome, how long are we going to do this for? Until we've taken care of all the singularities. The previous 2 singularities were at the crime scenes, right? So the next one should be in the ghost house? Oh, right. So if the singularities are at the crime scenes, there should be 3 more left? Correct. What are we going to do after it's all over? After that, I don't know. There's going to be a 6th class trial, but what? I don't know. I keep saying this, but I don't know everything, but I still don't know more than I know. All I can do is show you the profiles and give you the approximate indicator of the events. It's up to you to decide what to do after that. What? Well, I guess we have to leaving everything to Monochrome. Until a while ago, I was calling you suspicious. I'm sorry, Monochrome. As I have said before, I am only a tool. You do not need to apologize to me for anything. Yuko, let's save this for later. We have Yuki to find anyway. Let's focus on all the information Monochrome has for us. Yeah, let's do that. It just feels too dizzy every time we move. It's horrible. Mikako Kurokawa. The sin I committed back then. Against her specifically. What I wanted to say to Yoruko. Was this really right? No, I shouldn't be asking that now. The investigation comes first. Hey, sorry, do you remember anything else? Sorry, I can't remember anything apart from my okay, so it's the same thing. Yes. Dizzy again. Just mirrors the landscape breaking even more. It is because there is a lot of data to be processed. You better hurry now, this way. So there's 3 capsules? Yes, it's for Setsuka and the twins. Remember, the twins were not members of Void. So following the pattern so far, these mechanical devices at the singularities and the dead are in the places where they died? That is correct. That's weird, the only one who died in the ghost house was Setsuka, but the twins are here. So why weren't Hajime and Ima the first 2? Well, that's right, but these pods are for the victims, not criminals. And to some extent, the twins were also victims. Well, that's... God pant. Well, what's wrong? Are there ghosts? There's somebody behind the pillar. Oh, so there's Iroha. Oh, where the hell am I? How to get out? I just want to... I hate you, Mikado. I hate you, Mikado. Iroha? I'm sorry, Mikado. Please forgive me. Sora and Yuruko, why don't you look older? It's been a while, Miss Nijue. Monocro, what are you doing here? How'd you get here? No matter how much I try to leave, I can't escape. The answer is simple. You cannot move between coordinates because you are not an administrator. I brought these 2 here myself. Well, certainly looks like you're back to normal. Then can I go home now? After all you've done, that's all you have to say? Eek, it hurts. So much for counselor. Miss Yuruko, violence is against... Oh, I'm no longer a teacher. The rules no longer do not matter. Why are you overreacting? Sorry, you should be just as mad as me. You haven't even shouted at her. She cooperated with Mikado and helped kill Teruya. She almost got us all killed. I'm sorry. Stop it, Yuruko. We can't change what happened. There's nothing we can... there's something I want to ask her. Ow, it hurts. Iroha. I know you were on Mikado's side, but that doesn't matter anymore. I can understand why you did what you did. Even after Hajime was betrayed, you couldn't give up on the plan. Because you were desperate, you needed to reach your heaven again. My heaven? How do you know about divine luck? Just shut up and listen. But now that you've come this far, you should know now. Mikado Sanoji only sees you as a tool. So even now, you have no other. You have another choice. Join Mikado again, or you could give us a chance. What do you say? I wanted to join you, but the school rules. School rules? That's why Nikkei died. If you betray Void, you get killed yourself. Do you really think I stuck to Mikado because I liked him? I couldn't do anything. The school rules were only added after Shinji died and the trial was over. So why? Why didn't you reveal yourself when Nikkei did? Explain that one, Iroha. That's because... Alright, calm down, Yuruko. This is not the time or place to have this argument. We're not completely innocent either. You kinda tried to kill too, and now is not the time to feel guilty. Really? What? And why are you shouting all of a sudden? Sora? Oh no, it's nothing. Anyway, I'll pay the price for my sins one day. But for now, we have to stop Mikado. If we just leave him, he will continue his evil plans, and there will be even more victims. We can only prevent this with our own hands. Think about it. Don't worry about the rules, Iroha. Maybe it's because of the error in the virtual world, but all the rules in this world are now obsolete. Oh, you're right, the e-handbook. Don't like it either, but you're the last remaining Void, except for Mikado. So if you ever felt anything for us, I hope you will help us. I get it, I will help you. Maybe the Voids were already, like, they didn't have to de-age. Monocro began to briefly explain all the details to Iroha very smoothly. So, do you know why the execution stopped? It's obvious somebody forced the termination of the virtual world. And thanks to this termination, I am here to help you all. Scared, I was really scared. If it's been just a few seconds later, my head would have been splattered all over the wall. I hate it. Stop being so loud, shut up. Sora tells her to stop screaming, it's so scary. Sora, tell her to stop screaming, it's so scary. So there you have it, Iroha. Wait, why aren't you surprised by Yuruko's appearance? Oh, Come to think of it, when Sora woke up, she didn't even recognize me at all. So how did you know who I was straight away? Well, according to DK, all Void members received a profile on all of us. Iroha, so that's how you knew, right? Yes. Even though you just said it. Mikado gathered talented people from all over the country, and erased their memories and returned them back to their high school days. The symbols of the next generation of hope. Iroha, your reset code's been unlocked, right? But you haven't changed a little. Well, actually, the Voids don't have reset codes. Huh? Well, they do, but the code doesn't do anything. What does that mean? Wait, you don't even know? It looks like you need a detailed explanation of the reset codes. The reset codes synchronize your data modulation with the virtual world with the real world. In other words, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It literally initially resets your manipulated data. However, unlike the rest of you, the Voids have no tampered data, so the code stays the same. No tampered data, so you're saying that in reality this is how Iroha looks? Didn't you ask a while ago why Emma and Hajime had no pods, correct? The pod was imported with the reset code in mind. It's what happens when the victims return to their original body. When a Void returns to their initial state, there is no backup data, so it does not change. I'm so confused. In other words, you can't retrieve a Void's data. You can see it that way. It can only speak technically. Programming language is hard to explain. And even if they could retrieve Void's data, nothing would have changed. Huh? The Voids were brought by Mikado to simply fill the numbers out. They are just cattle. The Voids are not part of the next generation symbols of hope and do not have any more information than that. So if they're not a next generation hope and they're not super high school level students, does that mean they have no talent? I didn't go to Hope Speak Academy either, and I'm a no super high school level student. Nevertheless, we were still recognized for our talent, so what does that mean for them? Wait, does it mean that the Voids would be talented too? Considering the abilities we've seen Voids perform so far. Well, I'm not interested in boxing, media, or arts, so I'm not sure. But Emma Mongarobi, I know that name for sure. Before the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, she was famous. It's just luck. Huh? Us Voids originally didn't have a talent at all. They were all faked, given to us using Utsuro's luck. That's what a talent is. It's just as Iroha said. But Yuruko was still right. They still technically have a talent. Hajime is a genius, famous amateur boxer, and Emma is a world-class child actor. Iroha here is a painter from a proud family, and Nikkei is a capable reporter. However, in order to reach that position, the power from the heavens had to be used. Wait a minute, Sora said that. If Utsuro dies, the luck he brought disappears, and the results caused by that luck will gradually disappear. Yes. Well, we're all losing our talents. Even if they are still protected by divine luck, we're still in a good position, but... So, even though our talents are gone, it's just a matter of time until someone noticed. Yes, now you understand why I did this. You understand, right? We had to go through with this. So what, you want me to feel sorry for you? You still did terrible things. Yuruko, calm down. Anyway, we have no answer. We know the reason why we were no capsules for the Voids. So now we know. This was the plan of the Void. We were all just used by Mikado, me included. Only Mikado knows the full truth. Even with Iroha, nothing has changed. We still don't have any definitive clues. Now, although she was an enemy, Iroha is still one more ally. Now we've joined forces, we can defeat Mikado. Now what's wrong? No, it's just like Monocro said, I wouldn't be much help. We didn't have any information before, but at least with Iroha now, we know all of the Void members. Even if it's not a definitive clue, the more information we know, the better. Well, I have something I want to ask a little later, but first of all, let's investigate these 3 capsules. Reset code. Inside the machine was a different but still recognizable woman sleeping quietly. Setsuka. She looked older than Yuruko, but I could still tell it was her. Although it was with a fake memory in a virtual world, she was trying hard to end the killing school trip. She tried to help everyone until the end. It's nice to see her face after so long, but we know all well that she's not here. Yeah. Perhaps if Shinji and Setsuka had been there, our bond might have been broken. Hadn't have been there, our bond might have been broken. Even though it's all over, during the killing school trip, her vacant seat in the trial hurt. Setsuka Chaibukuro. At this point in time, she was working as a private investigator. An investigator? Miss Chibukuro was trying to capture all the hidden remnants of despair. She made a big contribution. Because of this, she gained a lot of trust from the public, and she was practically called a symbol of hope. But she wasn't related to the 79th class. What and why did Mikado capture her? She was connected to the Kisaragi Foundation, and was looking for him. Huh? What, Setsuko was a member of the Kisaragi Foundation? No, she was a private investigator who did not belong to the Foundation themselves. She was like a contractor, right? Just before she was a sub to them. Just before she was forced into the killing game, she was commissioned by the Kisaragi Foundation. So she accepted it and tried to capture Mikado. However, Mikado caught onto this and somehow managed to kidnap her. Anyway, talent-wise, she was perfect for the killing game. Because the Kisaragi Foundation itself was founded by the 79th class. With that, the conditions were satisfied. And Setsuka was caught looking for Void and got kidnapped? Well, for more details, you should check the profile for yourself. Named Setsuka Chibukuro, she lost her right eye in an accident. Won an amateur billiards tournament with the power of her transplanted eye. But soon after, she was expelled from the billiards world for cheating. Since then, detailed information is unknown. After the tragedy, she used the power of her photographic eye to become a private investigator, and contributed greatly to rebuilding society and finding the remnants of despair. Come to think of it, Nikkei knew that, right? That Setsuka's eye functioned like a camera? What kind of insane surgery did she get to have a camera in her eye? She was tracking down the remnants of despair, right? The mob that was infecting the streets. Well, currently, most of them have been apprehended or just straight up disappeared. Unfortunately, I do not know the exact requests that she received, or how she was caught by Mikado. An investigator capable enough to be called a symbol of hope, kidnapped and used for this horrible plan. I'm really interested who Mikado is. Do you know, Iroha? Oh, well, even if you ask me, I don't know. Mikado only told us the information we needed to know for the plan. I told you before, it's my first time reading these profiles myself. Yeah, if I was Mikado, I wouldn't give the important information to a kid like you. What's that supposed to mean? Come to think of it, Monocro, you said you can freely administer this world, right? Well, technically yes, but not 100%. Mikado has not given me all the permissions here. Is it possible to recover the note that Setsuka left? Huh, note? Oh, you mean the one that Kanade burned? Yes, Kanade said something like, "What's this amazing note left by Setsuka? I want to know what it said." The contents might have something that we can use against Mikado. Now, Monocro, can you retrieve the note? That's a great idea. Remember it, Sora. Of course I can. You're talking about the note Miss Kanade burned during the third trial, correct? Please wait a few moments. Well done, Sora. We can find the clues that Setsuka left behind. We can now have a new weapon on our side. When I saw Setsuka, it suddenly came into my mind. Hello? What are you? There is no backup of for that data. The recovery will be impossible. Wait, why? You managed to restore the burnt monocrew, so what's the problem? That is possible because there was existing backup data. The data for Miss Chibukuro's note has been deleted. The only thing I can think of is Mikado himself deleted the data, or... That's ridiculous. It obviously was something important that he had to remove it. Well, there's a lot of things we don't know about Mikado. Well, I thought I could be of great help. I apologize. It's not your fault. I guess it wouldn't just be that easy. But Sora, there's nothing we can say to Monocro that will change anything. For now, we need to do whatever we can. Sora, you're being strangely calm. She's Akane. Unfortunately, it was just as I said, there was nothing we could do. What we've been able to gain from this is that Setsuka was commissioned by the Kisaragi Foundation. At this point, neither Monocro or Iroha knew much at all. If we can escape this virtual world, maybe I should ask somebody in the Foundation about her. About that kind of request she received and what information she had about Mikado. I hope I can find out. Okay. Inside the machine was a little different, but you could still recognize the woman sleeping quietly. Hibiki and Kanade don't look that different. Well, they definitely look like adults compared to their young look before. Hibiki and I don't even want to face the thing next to her. Roha, did Void even know that Kanade was a serial killer? I had no idea. I didn't even understand what a person like that would be doing in a plan in the first place. And when we met with Mikado, the plan was already set. Only Mikado knew the criteria for the personnel. And all of them were just Mikado's puppets. What did you expect? Don't blame Iroha too much. The rest of Void was just used by him. First of all, let's open the profile. Read it yourself. Name, Ibiki Otono Koji. Before the tragedy, she was a vocalist who was the popular band Melody Rhythm. After the tragedy, she revitalized the stagnant society. She created charity performances, which all the money was donated to restoration projects. In addition to her band activities, she also participated in volunteer activities quite often. Because of these actions, she began to be called the next generation symbol of hope. Kanade Otono Koji. Before the tragedy, she was a guitarist who was in the popular band Melody Rhythm. After the tragedy, she revitalized the stagnant society. She created charity performances, which all the money was donated to the restoration projects. She through her band activities, she also participated in volunteer activities quite often. Because of these actions, she became to be called the next generation symbol of hope. There's hardly a difference between them. Because Kanade never got caught. Why is a killer who had taken at least 60 lives considered a next generation symbol of hope? There's another strange thing I noticed. With this profile alone, there doesn't seem to be any connection to the 79th class of Hope's Peak. Actually, I only have basic information about the twins. I was also amazed by Kanade's turn. What? Surely you should know everyone except Kokoro. Wait, I can make a theory, but it's not pre-entered information. Mikado might not even known about Kanade's tendencies. Could that really be possible? Didn't Miss Kanade herself say it's her third trial? Say in her third trial, this is the first time I have been caught. That must mean nobody has caught her committing murder, which means that it was left as an unprecedented case. The police trying to solve over 60 cases. Perhaps it could have been in connection with the police? Police? Director of the Kisaragi Foundation, 79th class student, former super level policeman Tsurugi Kinjo. Or Kinzo, one or the other. I'm sure he had a close relationship trying to catch Miss Kanade. What, the super level policeman? Think about it, important figures around Melody Rhythm continue to disappear. Of course, at some point the twins must have been interrogated. Tsurugi Kinjo hates evil more than anyone else. It's hard to think that he wasn't on the case. What about Ibiki? She's not related? No, at the time Ibiki was also a suspect, the same as Kanade. She would have been interrogated too. And because of Kanade's nature, she would have highly covered up her crimes completely. Therefore, I think Miss Ibiki would have met Kinjo at least once. Wait, isn't that a little off? I don't know who Mikado was, but how did he find the serial killer that even the police couldn't find? I'm not too sure, I'm sorry. Maybe he's trying to collect talent. There's something I'm worried about, too. One condition Monocro said is that the next generation symbols of hope must be related to the 79th class. How do I explain? It just feels so odd to me, like a random selection. In fact, when I heard about the people in the plan, I did question the criteria a little. Mikado said that these people are enough. There is no alternative. There is no alternative? He said because they would be difficult people to capture and everybody knew them. Well, kidnapping not one, but two celebrities wouldn't have been easy. How the hell does he have so much nonsense intelligence? If you think about it, we really didn't know anything about Mikado. The mastermind behind the killing game, the leader of Void. The mastermind behind the killing game, the leader of Void. Even during the killing game, we couldn't find out his true intentions. We were just doing nothing. So how can we investigate it as freely as possible? Being left alone gives us a weird feeling of incongruity. Iruko. Sora, have we all unlocked the reset codes? Yes. It's just as Monocro said, the reset code initializes the restoration of tampered data. Iroha wasn't an avatar like me, she was always like this. Why am I being mentioned? If that's right, Sora, Even when you've used the reset code on voids, it's safe to assume that their appearance won't change. Yuriko? I know what you're implying. That I'm a void too? Oh, well, I'm not 100% sure yet. But it would make sense since your reset code works the same as the voids. I agree with you. So her appearance did not change. That's interesting. So she got white hair. As Yuriko said, my amnesia hasn't gone, even after the reset code has been released. Sora, you thought Akane Taira was dead. Maybe something got lost in the process. I'm not sure right now. Maybe Mikado was aiming to release Akane Taira. You're in a different position to me, though, since you're one of the next generation hopes like Yuri. I'm curious about something. What is it? Who exactly is Akane Taira? Huh? Iroha, you don't know who Akane Taira is? This is the first time I've heard that name. Is that Sora's real name? What the hell are you talking about? The voice knew information about the killing game participants. That's how Nikke knew about Setsuka's eyes. So how do you not know? How don't you know about Sora? Well, unlike everyone else, I didn't get any information on Sora. When I asked about you, Mikado just told me you were a participant. Just a participant? Really, actually, I didn't even know her name in the first place. So I'd like to ask, who are you, Sora? Sora's real name is Akane Taira. Like you void, she was one of the children who was helped by Utsuro. Oh. Sora? Well, I guess she really didn't know. You're not lying? Why would I lie about it? My name is Akane Taira, and I was with Utsuro in his last moments. What, you were with Utsuro when he died? Oh, shut up, I'm gonna go deaf. So you really are part of the Children of Utsuro? Children of Utsuro? Oh, it's nothing, a name we called each other. The other children Utsuro looked after. In other words, Void. Mikado Sanoji called it Void. Originally, Nikke was the leader, and we were just a small group instead of an organization. We didn't have another name. And as soon as Mikado joined, he said that the Children of Utsuro was over. Please give us the details. Sora, you should already know if you already was a member. Utsuro didn't just help one or two people. And when Utsuro died, our divine luck disappeared. With that, our talents disappeared. As a result of that, according to Mikado, they died. That makes sense. Nobody would notice a few extra deaths when there's tragedy is taking place. And without the power of luck, your life is at risk. So how is the rest of the Void alive? Oh well, death isn't guaranteed. But considering the sort of people Utsuro helped, you can imagine what would happen if their luck vanished. Divine luck itself doesn't cause death, it just makes people like me go back to their hell. And that could cause suicide. Is that right, Iroha? Even though they were all under the same luck, it depends on how much they needed that protection. He said that's right, some people's lives were saved as a result. Just as much as some people's small wishes were granted, some people's lives were saved. And the degree of the disappearance matched the total amount of divine luck they received. So are you saying that the Voids received a lot of protection, meaning that it's disappearing more slowly? Oh, that's what I was trying to say, thank you. Wait a minute, that reminds me of something. I have just a ton of divine luck. It doesn't matter, anyway, this is just a virtual world. And you are Akane Taira, it doesn't matter if you're just an avatar or not. I'm sure you have some sort of relationship with Akane Taira. So that means Mikado Sanoji also knows about Akane Taira. Why did he try to conceal that information? Mikado Sanoji tried to cover up Akane Taira. How would Shobai know that? How don't you know that? Mikado was the only one in Void that knew about Akane Taira. Mikado knew about Akane Taira and hid it. Shobai knew information about Void that Iroha herself didn't know. I wonder what happened. Iroha, what do you want? Don't worry about what happened, it's in the past. But why did you knock me off the Tower of Babel? Oh no, that wasn't me, Sora, it was somebody else. I sinned, I'm so sorry. Well, at that time, Mikado was threatening me, so I couldn't help it, so you were pressured to kill by him? Yeah, I really didn't want to, honest. If I didn't, Mikado would have killed me. There's no need to tremble like that. I don't blame you, Aroha. I have no intention of looking down on you, except that you're short, but other than that. But if you had died, Let's not think about that. In the end, you ended up helping me get my memories back. What are you on about? It doesn't matter, I'll tell you later. But if you truly feel sorry about it, you can always make it up to me later. Of course. Come to think of it, I have a question for you, Iroha. What is it? You said it when you talked to Yuriko earlier, right? About Utsuro's children, each of which received help from Utsuro as a child, and gained divine luck. So in many ways it matches up with Void. So does that include you? Oh yes. Well, in the case of me, I needed acknowledgement from the people around me. You wanted recognition? You know, how my family is known for being a generation of famous artists? My mother, my father, my sister, and my brother, all of them were full of talent, and I was drawing doodles. It was only me who couldn't do anything. Painting, sculpting, designing, whatever I did, I was always mediocre at it. I couldn't fit into the first-class family. You even deceived us with your own art abilities. That's why I was given divine luck. I wanted to be acknowledged by my family, by the world, that's all I wanted. After I met Utsuro, I joined the Nijue family like the others, and I became a great painter. So your painting ability was granted from divine luck. So is it that's why you joined Void, because your talent began to disappear? Yes. But of course you know, you had to commit crimes in Void, including murder. If I'm not talented, I don't even deserve to be alive. Of course I knew I was a criminal. I was a criminal. Oomph. But you would understand. Calm down, Iroha. I'm not trying to judge you. Sora, before meeting Utsuro, I was nothing. There was no other way. Huh? Me, who could only draw small little mediocre drawings, was a big shame to my family name. So that's why they hid me from the public. Everyone knows me as the youngest daughter of the Nijue family. But the cover-up story was that I had a mental illness, so I couldn't move my body. This allowed them to keep me in the house without anybody asking questions. What kind of family is this? It's kind of like the Kennedys. Ooh, that was nasty. Okay, of course my life wasn't affected that much. From a Rosemary Kennedy, I had 3 meals a day, and it wasn't an uncomfortable place. But except from eating and sleeping, I was stuck there, painting in my room, drawing and drawing. And I couldn't go outside, and I had 24-hour employee surveillance. If I tried to do something else or run away, my parents would have been contacted right away. After that punishment time. It sounds like what happened to the Tower of Babel a few days ago. Guess what? Tower of Babel felt better than staying in my room. The roughness. I was so young at the time, I just wanted to die. But for a timid person like me, there's no way I could kill myself. You are imprisoned until you're able to live up to your family name. That was the rules. Do you think I improved? I tried. Didn't you say that you liked manga? Yes, I enjoyed it since I was young, but after I was imprisoned, I couldn't even touch it. My family doesn't see manga or cartoons as art. I was only allowed to watch anime when I was blessed by the heavens. I got so much love from my family after that. The heavens opened up. Divine luck. Sora, you were blessed too, so you should understand. If you was to go back to how you was before you met Utsuro, and if you could somehow stop it, you'd have made the same choice I did. Would I? I thought about that Akane Taira died with Master Utsuro. If Utsuro died, that means, like Iroha, I would try to do anything to revive the luck. Master Utsuro, are you about to die? Of course, I wasn't Master Utsuro to live. I wasn't, but me and Utsuro were criminals before people. If you die, you can't atone for your sins. But it's already happened. Utsuro is dead. He wanted to die for what felt like a lifetime, and in the end, I put him down. Some people could say he just ran away without paying the price for everything he committed. But ethics and morality aside, I have something more important to me. Master Utsuro. If he wanted you to do something, you have to do it. It brings you back to life. It brings you back divine luck. It brings back divine luck. To return to hell or follow Utsuro. I don't have to worry about that anymore, right? What do you think, Sora? Sora? Oh yeah, what? Why, your expression turned blank when I was speaking to you. Oh, just wait a minute, I'm okay now. Okay, well then. Okay, that's my story. I don't know much about the others' backstories. All I know is that Hajime has health, Emma's was wealth, and DK's was power. What about Mikado? Oh, Mikado, I didn't ask. It's bad to pry into other people's past. He would have been mad at me if I asked. It's intelligence, right? I see. Anyway, Iroha, I see how desperate every void was. But I'm in the same position. Even so, you are wrong. I know I don't deserve to say this, but when this is all over, we should pay for our sins, as part of the children of Utsuro. That's right, we have to fight against Mikado, to prevent Muck from being revived. What's wrong? Well, it's good to pay for your sins, but can't we find another way? Excuse me? Can't we have a Jesus or something? I'm joking, of course. Kane Taira. Hey, me. This discomfort, what is it? It's good that she's an ally rather than an enemy, but it's only because she's desperate. That's just Iroha. What do we do? I was thinking about the end. Okay, it's time to move to the next one, right? We're done investigating, we need to move. Yes. Right, well, let's move right away. Again, prepare yourself for the dizziness. Come this way. What? What? I can't even see. Where is everyone? Well, we should be, in the clock tower basement. Yuruko, careful where you're touching. Sorry, I didn't mean it. Monocro? Monocro, are you here? Do something. Sorry, I'm deeply sorry I surprised you all. Let there be light! It sure is brighter, but everything's still dark. No, it's not dark, it's something else. It's just like space, there's literally nothing here. How can we stand? There is no floor. I apologize, I expected this, but it's harder than expected. There's collision, there just isn't any textures, right? What are you talking about? Where the hell are we? Oh, sorry, Yuruko, over there. Wait, is that... Yeah, it's Shinji. Wait a minute, all the singularities before have been at the previous murder location, so why is Shinji here? This is the Tower of Babel's power room. The remnants of it, anyway. The remnants? The Tower of Babel, as you know, was outside the Mikado's territory. I know that Nikkei made the Tower of Babel, but it's an object that doesn't exist in the original program, so when it rebooted, it looks like the data was removed. Tower of Babel was deleted? Well, because the data that contained the tower was deleted, it moved Shinji to this empty space. Do you understand? Nope. Does the location really matter? Shinji's capsule is still here, and you can get the information right here. I guess you're right. The Tower of Babel. Ever since we stepped foot in that tower, things began to get stranger and stranger. Nikkei and Teruya started to run wild, and I became aware that I was an enemy. Shobai's behavior changed soon after we left the Tower of Babel too. Huh? Wait, if the Tower of Babel was prepared by Nikkei... Sorry, what's up? Is something bothering you? Iroha. What is it? You don't know anything about the tower, right? No, I didn't know anything about it. Nikkei made it in the first place without the other Void's knowledge. At the time, Mikado said that Nikkei couldn't have done it at all. So if you didn't help Nikkei make the Tower of Babel, how the hell did he do it? I know it's a waste to ask, but do you know anything useful? Wait, I might actually know something. Just say it already. I'm not too sure, but Nikkei always said that we should take Mikado's side because of that I was stuck. But it got a little awkward with us, so there was more and more solo actions, maybe in that time. Sorry, it's okay, Nikkei's the only one who could answer that question. And he's dead, and the tower is gone. For now, let's investigate on what is in front of us, rather than what we can't find out. I see, I'm sorry, something was just bugging me. Glad that's sorted, then let's investigate. Shinji, quickly. And I'm sorry, but we're in quite a rush, so investigate as soon as possible, please. This place feels very uncomfortable as a program. I want to leave as soon as possible. Inside the capsule was a man who looked middle-aged, sleeping silently. Shinji, just how old were you? Late 50s. Also known as middle-aged by international standard in the current era. He's old enough to be our father. Well, Kokoro is quite old too, so it's not that surprising. Let's see. named Shinji Kasai. Ever since he was a young man, he had a hardworking firefighter. He was responsible for saving many lives during his time on duty. At one point, he was in a fairly high position, but he was too reckless and crossed the line. His health was never the same. Thanks to his wife and children, he began to recover slightly, and eventually became a security guard. Nevertheless, when the tragedy hit, he took off and began to save countless people from disasters. He was proud to become the first next-generation symbol of hope for his work. He fought to help everyone using his fighting abilities until the tragedy ended. Pretty mundane, right? That's amazing. Shinji, just as he was here, an uncle figure for us all. Shinji was married? That's what you're focusing on? Remembering that Shinji we know, I'm not sure how a guy like that got married. Wow, Sora, too soon. I'm joking. What's his relationship to the 79th class? Shinji had a great influence in resolving all the despair. He was a great man all around. If he didn't act, the death toll would have been much higher. There's no record of him enrolling in Hope's Peak, but he really does compare to a Super High School level true talent. Since he saved the lives of most people, including the 79th class, you could say he was indirectly related. But his most decisive move was saving the life of a young Kanata Inori, the 79th class Super High School level surgeon. Kanata Inori. Kanata lived alone after losing her family in a tragic car accident when she was just young. The life of Miss Inori was saved by Shinji, who arrived as an active firefighter at the incident. Oh! She was in critical condition at the time, and he used his friendship with Hikaru Ando to get her the help she needed. Both of them seem to have gotten closer after saving Kanata's life. For reference, the doctor called Hikaru is currently working in the medical team for the Kisaragi Foundation. Okay. So Hikaru Ando was the previously unnamed in the previous game godfather of Kanata Inori. If you haven't played the first game, she's one of the Chapter 3 victims in the first game. What was that look? Is there something you don't understand? It's not that, it's just a lot of information. Kanata, Hikaru, I don't know them very well. Me too. I can see why I wouldn't, but shouldn't you? Keep telling you, Mikado said all the preparations were done. Except for Sora, who was a 79th class member. I'm in a similar situation to you, Yuriko, right, Sora? Sora? Yeah, that's right. You know, you'll be there. Sora? Anyway, Shinji was the first of the next generation symbols of hope. One could view him as the leader of the group. Even without the connection to the 79th class, Mikado would have chosen him, I assume. Well, is this roughly about it for Shinji? Yes, there's not much more to say. Let's move on. According to the rules so far, the Twins Tower are next, right? Well, I mean, this is the last singularity. What do you mean? As Yuriko stated, the twins were at the other murder site. So, Teruya is the only one remaining. To be honest, I'm not sure if we can properly investigate Teruya. Why is that? Unlike you, who are using a genuine connection with the Neo World program connector, Teruya's entrance was made from another location. This is too confusing. It's an easy to understand explanation. All you need to know right now are lying in the same room. In reality, the Neo World program is quite bulky. Because of this, the connection has to be concentrated in one room. In the way, Teruya wasn't part of Mikado's plan from the beginning. He and the other Kisaragi member accessed the program through alternative methods. You're talking about Rei? Rei entered the same way. Wait, Monocro, there's a contradiction. Sora said that she met that Rei girl in the Tower of Babel, but she was obviously burned to ashes on her first day in the killing game. If death in the virtual world is death in the real world, how the hell is she alive? Miss Mekaru is alive? Monocro said the connector is different, right? Maybe that one doesn't cause death. No, even if the connection method is different, the program connects directly to the brain. Well, you just see Rei Mekaru just can't be healed. As evident by Teruya being completely dead. But is he though? Interestingly, how is Miss Mekaru alive? I don't know for sure. Can't we just ask her directly when we enter the real world? Problem solved. Any more questions? I want to leave. You're really desperate. Do you hate this place that bad? Well, you know, I wouldn't know. I just feel worrisome. Anyway, when you're ready to head to the last area, please talk to me. Wait, the next one is the last? Sora? There were 5 killings you experienced in this game, so Singularity's numbers will be the same. The people who have died so far: Yuri, Kokoro, Setsuka, and the twins, Shinji, 6 people in total. Of the 16 participants, there are 5 voids and only 10 normal students. Of the remaining 5 left, Yuruko is the same as the dead symbols. And I'm Akane Taira. Yuki is the void's purpose itself. Then all that remains. What about Teruya and Shobai? Teruya belonged to the Kisaragi Foundation and was captured trying to rescue us. What about Shobai? Surely he can't be a symbol. Shobai is quite irregular, you could say. You don't have to say it, Monochrome. I'll ask my friend. Iroha, I'm talking to you. Me? Well, I'm not sure. Shobai, what do I know about him? Don't lie to my face. I can tell you're lying, you know. Do you know about the identity of Shobai? Yes, no, by the way, can I say? You said you'd help us. The least you could do is answer a few questions. Or what? I guess there's still no redemption for the voids. Yuruko, what are you trying to say? Please be nice to me. You start being nice and I'll be nice, and stop screaming at me. I'm older, treat me with respect. Girls, you're both pretty. Now calm down. That is such a Sora thing to say. Shobai was our void's collaborator. What? Collaborator? Wait, Nikkei said something like that at the Tower of Babel, but he had to figure out that Akane was Akane, though. No, it's true, the Voids only had 5 members, but that's not all there is to it, huh? Rumor has it that there was a mysterious collaborator that helped with our plans. Well, a collaborator, you say go on. I knew this was a double entendre. I didn't say anything, but I knew this was a double entendre. No one other than Mikado knows about this person. I've only heard about their existence, that's all. Wait, wasn't Miike lying about that? It's no a lie. We knew who the collaborator was. It's Shobai. Don't misunderstand. I don't know what Shobai was supposed to do. The only person who knows what the collaborator was actually doing was Mikado. But didn't Nikkei say that none of the other members knew apart from Mikado? Nikkei was that kind of person. I've told a lot of lies too, but I don't think I'm such a bad person. I mix the lies with the truth. So Nikkei talked about the insider of Void being Shinji when it was actually Shobai? But he fought against Mikado on the first island, so what did that mean? I'm not sure about the details. Shobai was the man who took employment seriously, remember? Employment. So if you gave him a certain amount of money, he would do anything without hesitation. But Shobai didn't know about Mikado when we started the killing game. Well, what happened between Mikado and Shobai, I'm not sure. Shobai's memories might have been manipulated like all of yours. Wait, so he looked that awful even in high school? I wonder what he looks like now then. No, Shobai's avatar works like the Void's. Since he was hired for the plan, he wouldn't be a symbol of hope, and he wasn't related to the 79th class. Mikado manipulated Shobai's memories. Why would he do that after paying him? Well, that's all I can tell about Shobai for now, because Mikado was a just terrible person, that's why. Iroha doesn't seem to know more either. To think about it, Shobai in the Tower of Babel seemed a little different. Especially on the 5th island when he mentioned Akane Taira. He suddenly disappeared before my eyes too. Did he recover his memories at some point? I was unintentionally helping you, but looks like I gotta do what I was paid for. Disappear. If Shobai was the collaborator of Mikado, then what did that mean? What do you know about the Kisaragi Foundation? Well, I don't have much information on the Foundation either. Our information hasn't exactly got a conclusion. We were just left with more questions. The easiest answer to them would be from Mikado's own mouth. Well, I don't know what he would tell us so easily. That's the real Mikado. What's the real Mikado doing? He wasn't part of our execution, so he's got to be alive somewhere. I see. Mikado appears like a ghost and brings misfortune. That's just him. Sora said that Shobai is gone, and Yuki too. I'm not sure he's around. I'm not sure about Mikado, but I can sense Yuki. He seems to be in the next singularity, probably trapped there, just like Iroha was. For now, there's something else for us to do here. Let's go and find you. There's nothing else for us to do here. Let's go and find Yuki. Mikado, the Kisaragi Foundation, all our problems are about to come together. We need a plan. You're right. Shinji is sleeping in the capsule without moving. I'm gonna check my truth bullets and see how far along I am. Ah, okay, we are... Who knows how much. You don't know if another page is going to come up later. Well, this is kind of chaotic. We've arrived. The final place in the error program. It's a singularity, but not a singularity. It's the fifth singularity. Is this Higa City's twin towers? We've come full circle. Pant, pant. Sora? So what's wrong? Oh no. What's wrong with me? I got chills and goosebumps the moment I stepped foot in here. It's different from just feeling dizziness. It's a weird sensation. It's hard to explain. Are you all okay? I might feel a bit dizzy, but I'm used to it. It's the fourth time around. Is there something wrong? No, I'm fine, don't worry. And the moral of the story is... save the game. In between each jump. Well, I crashed. I'm gonna have to spacebar spam my way all the way back here. I'll do that later. For now, we're ending here. I crashed the game. I think I pressed the page down button by accident, and that's what caused the crash.